Hold on, let me open my Twitch. I didn't do any kind of announcement video, so we're not
That's
going to
all
get
right.
like a basically anyone who's not checking their email or checking alerts and stuff isn't going to know that the stream's happening.
That's all right, man.
But that's fine because this is kind of like an impromptu thing anyway.
Yeah, and Friday nights for me is like a rush, like to do because
Okay.
I get home at like 7, so it's just like okay, get home, get it all ready, and fucking go. So no big deal. Okay, so we should be streaming. I'm just gonna double check. Home at like 7,
All
so it's
right.
just like
I'm
okay,
going
get
to
home,
hit
get it all
start
ready, and
streaming
fucking
then.
go. So no big
So
deal.
I'll be streaming on
Okay,
my
so we
Twitch
should be
channel.
streaming.
Asking my friends for friendly favors, and everything's okay. All my friends are friendly neighbors. When you need a place to stay, sentiments on cards and papers on my birthday. Get along, little doggies, cute little froggies. Get along, little doggies, cute little froggies. At night I sleep in a manger. You can lay down for a while. All my friends are complete strangers. You can lay down with a smile. Every night I feel a little stranger, winding my song down. Get along, wet and soggy, tired and groggy. Get along, trading hobbies, trading hobbies. Get along, 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 get along.
Just walk away. Just walk away. And there will be an end to the horror.
We should
I see
be
your.
live.
Oh, all right.
We should be live, and they should hear us. There might be a delay because
Okay.
it's fucking YouTube.
Oh, I
We
didn't know if you
should
had
be.
do you have like an introductory spiel you want to say, or are we just going to get into it?
No, hey everybody, I am serious here. I was just talking with my buddies here, but we're here live now. We got Turd Flinging Monkey. as well as my co-host Nick, and we're gonna get into it. That's about it. That's the intro. That's all the
There
intro
you
that we're
go.
gonna get. So
All right.
so how are you doing, TFM? It's been a while.
It has. It has been quite a while. I'm doing better than I deserve, but I did get 2 strikes on my channel. So for everyone who's watching the stream who isn't subscribed to my backup channel, which is Celestino Monkey, I crash on my waifu's couch whenever I get struck down by the YouTube gods. So subscribe to her channel. That's where I'll be uploading while I'm waiting for the strike appeal process or one of the strikes. Basically, even if the strike isn't appealed, I should be able to re-upload in 2 weeks. So I'll be able
Okay.
to upload back to my main channel in 2 weeks.
So this is a very recent strike. Then this is like,
It happened. Yeah, it happened like yesterday.
oh, okay, okay. I didn't realize
Yeah, it
that.
was. Yeah, yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
Of course, it's bullshit. And I got no here. I hope you're drunk again. That last time you streamed with TFN was one of the funniest fucking things I've ever listened to. I haven't streamed with TFN. That was with somebody
No,
else.
no, you did. I was playing Overwatch, and you were drunk. You were drunk off your fucking ass.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's great.
You probably don't even have. You probably completely blocked out that memory. Like you woke up like that. I had a good night's sleep, and you don't even remember that we streamed that night at all. Probably.
Yeah, probably. I was just so pissed. I was so out of it. Nice.
Am's
Yeah.
a good drunk to be around.
You were super drunk.
Hey, I don't think that'll happen tonight, unfortunately. Although
Okay.
I could prematurely celebrate, but I think
Okay.
I'll put that off. But anyway, I want to get into you know what? One of the reasons I wanted to get TFM on here is because he's been going nonstop since
Yeah.
I dropped out of the scene. He's been going nonstop, and
It wasn't just you. It's been like a
lots of
lot
people.
of the like there was like a whole thing where like most of the content creators just stopped making content.
yes, yeah, and but you know,
You know?
and the thing is my reason for stopping wasn't necessarily because I was like, oh, I'm tired of this shit. It was all external, right, at the time. And you know, obviously I'm in Canada now, so you understand all these changes that
Yeah.
happened. But it was interesting how a lot of people just sort of, boom, out of nowhere, dropped out. And
Yeah.
you were kind of just kept going and going and going. And I always looked, I'd always check. I'm like, oh yeah, TFM's still there. There's TFM. He's still there.
Yeah.
So like,
Still keeping it real.
I mean, what happened? Okay, what changed for you during that time?
Well, yeah, no, it's like I've been doing the same thing, just putting one foot in front of the other, but it's like the world's changed around me. So originally, I was just like one of many MGTOW channels. I wasn't even, I would say I might be I was mid tier. I was in the silver league. I wasn't even like in the upper echelons. I certainly wasn't one of the top MGTOW channels by any stretch of the imagination. And then basically,
You were an early bloomer, though. You were a very early bloomer.
right. Well, what happened? Really, it was a YouTube thing. So
Yeah.
when YouTube changed their algorithm, they started. It started favoring channels that produced daily content and that had long watch times. So this was the era of the Let's Players, because making a Let's Play video is so easy. You just play a video game, and you could do that every day, and you could play for an hour, and then upload it, and people watch an hour-long video every day. So this is when like all the Let's Play channels blew up. Now the problem is having an algorithm that favors daily content, hour-plus long content, does not favor most MGTOW content creators, because most MGTOW content creators produce maybe one video a week. It was well researched. It was maybe 10 minutes. So the MGTOW channels were being buried, other than Sandman. And this is not I'm not slamming Sandman at all, because he had kind of a good kind of plan.
How's he
and
doing
it just
now?
kind of
Is he still
he's
fucking...
he's got over 100,000 subs.
Wow. Okay, good.
So yeah, he's you know what? Say what you want about Sandman. He does his thing. Like he doesn't let anything get in his way.
Yeah.
He does his thing. But what happened was Sandman's channel started blowing up because the algorithm rewards daily content, and he was the only MGTOW producing daily content. But then now this is it's a mixed blessing. On one hand, Sandman's growth helped bring more people awareness of MGTOW, which brought more people into the community. The problem, the downside of that, is Sandman's success translated into financial success. Now, prior to Sandman's channel significantly growing, no one was making money in MGTOW. MGTOW was a niche community that your videos might make, like $100 a year. Like the ad revenue was shit.
Yeah.
You were only going to get maybe 10,000 subs. That was basically your channel was going to plateau at about 10,000 subs, and that was fine. Everyone kind of knew the score when they got in. They weren't here to get rich. They were here to help men.
Yeah.
But when Sandman's channel took off, other people kind of like saw those dollar signs, and then you have what you know who Marcus is from the Groundwork for the Metaphysics of MGTOW.
Yes.
Okay, so he called it the refugee crisis. He's kind of comparing it to like in Europe, how all the people from Africa and everything just flood into Europe, and they turn Europe into Africa. Right. So basically, all these people who really they didn't watch Barbarossa or Stardust. They didn't know Spetsnaz or Man-Woman Myth or any of like the great foundational MGTOW philosophy videos. What they saw Sandman answering some questions. They saw MGTOW 101 taking memes and putting them on news clips. And they were like, oh, that's easy. Oh, and Sandman has all these subs. Oh, I could do that. And then you just had you had the era of dog shit where people...
Okay, wait. Let's put a timeline to this. Let's put a timeline to this.
Okay.
Era of dog shit, circa when did it start?
It started it was like the same year I started, because my channel, I started in like early 2015.
You started a little bit after me, like not that long after me.
Yeah. But but it was still the era of intellectual videos.
Yeah.
Well, like if you watch my videos from 2015, I was only producing one video a week, and if you look in the description, there's all kinds of sources and links to different. Everything was researched.
Yeah.
I think I want to say late 2015, maybe 2016. That's when the algorithm changed, and that's when daily content was king, and that's when the dog shit happened. So you had people. I'm so done with the fucking drama, but there were channels that should go unnamed.
Yes.
And they were just producing dog shit content. But because they produced so much content, and because YouTube was rewarding daily content and watch time, they became the face of MGTOW. And I think that's what drove, because basically that changed the face of the community. Because whoever the face is going to determine the kinds of people who come into the community. It's like a carnival barker. So when you have the dog shit people making the content that YouTube promotes, the people who are going to find MGTOW and discover MGTOW and watch MGTOW content are the people who primarily discovered MGTOW through the dog shit. So we had the dark times. We'll call it the dark times, where it was bad. I'm not going to lie. And Marcus put out this whole call for a MGTOW Renaissance project. We tried to come up with different solutions for like the good MGTOW content creators to produce quality content. The problem is you only have so many hours in a day. You can't produce good content every day to compete with the dog shit. The dog shit can just you can shit in one hand and you can produce quality content in the other and see which gets filled first. Yeah. So that was the long and short of it. So I kind of came to the realization myself that the only way to compete was I had to produce daily content. So I've tried to find. I like to delude myself into thinking that my quality hasn't suffered too much. That I found like a good balance of
middle ground.
Yeah, a middle ground, because I get, most of my videos I've transitioned into news videos, news commentary videos. And that was more of a side project that just kind of blew up, and now it's like 70% of my videos are news videos, because they're somewhat easy to do. You see an article, you comment on it, publish, done. Yeah. You don't have to think about something and do a lot of research. You just kind of comment on an article. And there's so many things to talk about because there's so much stupid shit happening. You never run out of things to talk about. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like that's become kind of like my bread and butter. And what's crazy is, like, I had videos that blew up early. Like my "She'll Never Love You" video,
Yep.
and then one of my big hits was part of my "Enemies of Man" series about the male sex drive, and that had like 200,000 views. And I'm like, oh my god, it's viral. It's crazy.
Yeah.
One of my one of my TFM news videos was called "If Feminists Ruin Their Sons." It has like 700,000 views.
No way. I gotta check
And
that out.
yeah, and there's like, and it's just like a segment video of a podcast, like a TFM 420 podcast.
Mm.
But these segments, some of them just for whatever reason, whether it's the title or the thumbnail or the subject matter, it just takes off.
See,
So
yeah, I understand what you mean. It's really hard to tell. It's really hard to gauge what's going to make your content take off. But when you were talking about kind of the era of shit, I mean, I was still producing during that time. As much as I did, I didn't produce that much while I was producing, but I was still producing as the era of shit came into it. Oh, hold on a second. You
okay,
guys, I'm not ignoring anybody in the chat. TFM was just going for it, so don't worry. I see what you're
sorry.
talking about. No, it's all right. And if
I have one. The only question I've gotten is about the strikes. So I haven't heard anything about the strikes. There's a guy who someone put me in touch with who supposedly he works for YouTube or he has connections in YouTube, and apparently he can help get these strikes taken off if they're illegitimate. So I did a whole thing. He has like a form you fill out, and he says he'll get back to you within 72 hours. So hopefully that happens. I would love to have the strike taken off because it was absolute bullshit, but
someone
it
in
hasn't
my
happened yet.
someone in my chat said, "I love you, TML." I don't know who that is, so we'll pass the message on.
Oh, that's probably, I don't know, TML. Who knows?
And yes, Barbar might come back. I reached out. Okay, I forgot to tell you this, TFM.
Okay.
A lot of people have been bugging me to go back to the format I was doing in the back door. Right? You remember that shit?
Yeah.
And and they were like, "Oh, can you go back and do that?" And I'm like, "I can't. I can't really do that anymore. But I can at least reach out to people I've talked to before and maybe bring back a little bit of what happened before I guess the shit era started creeping in."
Well, I mean, the Backdoor series was good, but it's kind of what we're doing
Yeah,
now,
it's what we're doing now.
except yeah. So I mean, it's not hard. In
Hmm.
fact, what's odd is because of the way the YouTube algorithm works. If you do these, kind of long form podcasts, that's actually what YouTube wants. They want long watch time. They want
Mm.
high viewer retention, and so having like a 2 hour long podcast of people just
Hello?
us succinct 10-minute videos that are well researched and get to the point. They'd much rather have 2 hour long bullshit.
Really? See, I didn't. I always thought
No,
like it was they wanted shorter stuff, but I don't know.
no, no. It's the algorithm, and because there's money involved, because the algorithm can make or break a channel, and there's dollars and cents attached to that.
Ah, yeah,
People are always trying to game the algorithm.
yeah.
It's kind of frustrating. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, so basically, that's why I reached out to you. There was actually people saying, "Hey, I am. Why don't you talk to TFM again?" I said, "Okay," and I have tried to reach out. I reached out to Sandman too, but he doesn't want to do a live. Like he won't do a live.
There's some people who just can't do live. Like I'm friends with Mr. Dapperton, who's like he was an ANCAP, but now I guess he's a VolCap. He's like doing his own thing. I don't know, but he will refuse to do anything live. I guess he gets nervous or he gets tongue tied. He prefers to do things recorded. He'll collaborate with you, but he doesn't like live. I guess the pressure is too much. It might be a public speaking thing. So
Maybe.
there are people who are afraid of public speaking, who may have a problem with live streaming, but who are comfortable recording content and uploading it.
Well, that's the
So,
thing. I wouldn't
what are you
It's
push
gonna
it.
do?
unfiltered. That's why they're afraid.
Un,
Sorry.
oh, unfiltered. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's unfiltered, so people get nervous.
Right,
No, I'll fucking
right.
get
And
blind
I don't. I
drunk in
could give
front of
less of
these.
a shit. So,
Yeah, I'll get blind drunk in front of these people.
right.
But
Which has happened.
I would never I would never try to push him into that. So I might I might try and get him to just do a talk to record, which I haven't done in a long, long time. So
Yeah, yeah. People think like because I haven't had Sandman on the TFM show or as a guest in any of my podcasts, that, like we aren't friends. I've talked to Sandman. Sandman's a good egg. I nothing
He's-
but respect for the guy.
he's a great guy.
Yeah, people. The only criticism people have had is, his content hasn't evolved, but he admits himself that he kind of accepts his role as the carnival barker.
Yeah.
He's there to get the people
He's selling
to
the
hear
tickets,
things out.
guys.
Yeah,
He's
he's
selling the
there. He's
fucking
barking.
tickets.
He's selling the tickets. He's not there to teach you the way. He's not there to show you the way. He's there to like. He's there to bark at you, and he's pointing you into the tent. Go into the tent. Go into the tent.
Yeah.
That's
And he's
Sandman.
good at it.
He's
He's fucking
good at
great at it.
Yeah, I discovered MGTOW through Sandman, and I think a lot of people probably their first exposure to MGTOW, unless they joined during the dog shit era, was probably through Sandman.
The dog shit era. That flew right under my radar, man. It was just creeping up. Like I guess the shit was just kind of piling up from the bottom up, and I kind of
Yeah,
missed it.
it was bad. It was
Well, you
bad.
gave a very good bird's eye view of what MGTOW's about this day and age.
Did I wait? Are you saying I did or I
We
should
were
or?
discussing about what you were saying, what the MGTOW is today, and
Oh.
the progression, the natural progression that you described before was pretty accurate.
Well, what's interesting is initially MGTOW was very simple. It's just, hey, marriage is a horrible idea. Don't do it. It's like don't eat Tide Pods, don't get married. It's like just common sense. Common sense. But
Well,
once you get past don't getting married, and once you're kind of more or less aware of the gynocentrism in society, then the question is, well, now what?
Well,
So-
just to jump in for a second. Not too long ago, I was on a cast with who we were talking about before, MGTOW expat, and people were asking me questions in the comment section that were trying to compare MGTOW to feminism, and
Oh
saying,
yeah, that's very common.
yeah, and they and basically saying that there's an ideology that you follow. There's these, and I said no. There's a difference. Telling people not to drink bleach isn't an ideology. It's a goddamn warning.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
So yeah.
Well, I did a video. I've used to do these response videos to anti-MGTOW videos, but now they just repeat themselves, and there's very little for me to respond to that I haven't already responded to. But there was a girl who did an anti-MGTOW video where she compared MGTOW to feminism,
Oh woman.
and my response to her was the difference between MGTOW and feminism is the difference between science and magic, because if you don't understand science, like if you went back in time and showed a bunch of like primitive people science, they would think it was magic because they wouldn't know science and magic. But if you understand science, you clearly know what is science and what is magic.
Yeah.
So basically, retarded dipshits, they see MGTOW, they see feminism, and they see some similarities. Like feminism talk about patriarchy, MGTOW talk about gynocentrism. Well, then they're the same because I'm retarded and I don't think, I don't use my brain. I see words being said and I just make an association. But patriarchy, like the feminist patriarchy theory, does not exist.
Yeah, it's a complete. It's Santa
Yeah,
Claus, man.
it's a complete inversion of reality. Gynocentrism is completely verifiable.
Yeah.
Like you look at the sentencing gap and all the money showered upon women, how they can hit a man and the man can't defend himself, or he gets arrested as the
Circumcision.
aggressor. Right. There's a thousand data points which show how women are favored in society, i.e., gynocentrism. There is no evidence that there's a conspiracy of patriarchy holding women back. So to say that, oh, well, feminist has this complete made up bullshit theory that blames men for everything, and that's just like MGTOW accurately pointing out
Yeah.
the gynocentrism in society. Therefore, MGTOW is just as bad as feminism.
Absolutely.
That's like somebody saying, I saw you light a Zippo, and that's just like lightning. Therefore, you're a wizard.
Yeah.
That's like the kind of fucking retarded shit that
Well,
they're saying when they do that.
here's a funny little story that happened to me today.
Okay.
So, I'm right now dealing out alcohol to alcoholics, right?
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
Celestina's got something to say.
Celestina's got something to say. Hold on,
TFM,
guys.
you said that you were intel in the Navy. What type of intel job did you have? How did you like it? Also, a Somali man tried to rape a woman in labor. EU politicians are saying that the people trying to stop the rape were racist because they wouldn't have.
Oh, see, you ran out of characters, so you got a 250 only. I was in Navy Intel, obviously. I was a 9138. For those of you, it's basically a reporter and an analyst. So I can make a PowerPoint that you could bring home to your mother and make her cry. I can make the best PowerPoint you've ever seen.
Oh,
PowerPoint you bring home to mama.
MGTOW Warrior's in the
But
house. Thank you. He's here. Keep going, TFM.
okay, now the Somali rape. It's interesting because when obviously feminists in Europe are very, like they will not let up on their men. Like everything is toxic masculinity. We need to effeminize men. We need to do this. We need to do that. But then when there's actual rapes going, like in Sweden, it's run by a feminist government, super misandrist. Men have no rights. But then there's like actual rapes going on, and if you say anything, you're an Islamophobe. So it's like, yeah, it's an interesting dichotomy, I suppose. What you can't explain it logically because women aren't logical.
No, they
So
are not.
you're asking me for like how does this make logical sense? It doesn't. They're women. You're looking for logic in a woman is like trying to teach a dog turd algebra.
Yeah. Well, here, I was right before that question. I was just going to tell a little bit of a story that actually ties in exactly with what you just said. All right.
Okay.
I'm sitting at a counter, and there is a machine for people to put in a card to pay with debit, right? And
Right.
and there's a black man standing in front of me that wants to buy his booze, and I say, look, this machine is very sensitive, all right? He taps his card, it doesn't work, and I said, look, man, the machine's very sensitive. I said, I'm really sorry, but I think we got a female, right? And he laughs, and there's a woman standing right behind him, and he laughs, and he turns around and goes, oh, I hope nobody heard that. And there was a woman right behind him, and immediately goes, really? And I go, exactly my point.
Yeah, you just proved my
You
point.
just proved my fucking
You
point.
overly sensitive cunt.
Yeah, that's the reality of it. I mean, it's something that you can measure and witness. I mean,
Right.
yeah, it's pretty
Right.
sad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you accuse women of being overly emotional, and they're like, "You're saying women are overly emotional? That's sexist." And it's
Yeah.
like you're just proving that you're overly emotional. Like,
Absolutely. And in front of
you know,
witnesses, at that
right.
point.
Well, but you're expecting them to see that and put two and two together
Yeah.
that's your mistake.
Yeah.
Assuming that they actually are going to again, women don't logic.
No.
If women logicked, they would be men.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
or,
no.
or they'd be autistic lesbians, one or the other.
So yeah, absolutely. There's if you can have women prove the slander they call you on every single time because they don't logic. They don't.
Yeah.
And we have to love them for that because there's nothing else to love them for.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's someone just said that an 18-year-old girl was caught sending a threat to her school so she could have more time to study. That's not even like a new thing. That's something kids have been doing for a while, like calling in bomb threats so that the school would be evacuated so they would get out of like some homework or something.
Well, I mean, we could go in. Me and our Nick and I talked about chicks in submarines with John the Other not long ago. How the very first female, um, what was it? Nick, was it a captain? He's
No,
still,
she was just an
Um,
officer, first female officer on an
well,
Argentinian
yeah.
submarine.
Well, officers could work kind of because they have staterooms, so they have their own room. Now, I tell you as a Navy veteran, when you have a co-ed ship where there's like one woman and like a shit ton of guys, unless she's like really loyal to her husband or something like that, she's gonna get every orifice filled on the daily.
yeah, absolutely, man.
Like it's basically gonna be like a fucking amateur browser's like video going on in her stateroom, 24/7, 365, no time off for good behavior.
Well, it's
Yeah, I
something.
had one friend. I had one friend who was in the Navy who confirmed that also. That's exactly what happens.
Yep.
And maybe that's the reason why the submarine disappeared. They
Well,
were
we had. I mean, the joke was the Navy is where ugly girls go to get laid
ah, it's not.
because there's, yeah, ugh,
Well, it's probably real.
ugh.
Well, you have to understand though, an entire submarine and all personnel went missing because of that. Like that's kind of sad.
Oh my God. Well, well, they're dead then.
Yeah, they're
They didn't
dead.
go missing. They probably went too deep or hit something, and because they're a submarine. Yeah, so everyone's dead.
Everyone's dead because
Diversity
of
is our
that
strength.
chick.
Well, it's like the security officer in charge of Equifax. She was a music composition major, but because she had a vagina, they made her the security officer because diversity is her strength, and we got to put these women in these important positions and make them executives and make them high ranking because vagina. So they made this music composition major the head of security for Equifax, and they suffered the biggest breach in their history, and she covered it up for months. And a third of Americans had their data stolen and didn't know about it for months because this diversity hire was trying to cover her ass, and the entire company is now fucked. Like that company has lost all their credibility. They are done. Like
Wow,
because of one diversity hire.
that's incredible. Do you know that Nick and I often joke about that our cast is pro Sharia. We often
Yeah,
joke about that. A lot.
when we last talked,
Mm.
I wasn't there yet, but I've talked to some woke Muslims, and I think it's time.
Man.
It is time. Because here's the thing I've discussed on my show pretty on very in depth that the only way Western civilization survives is if men take women's rights away.
Yeah.
That's now. However, people are like, well, how do you do that? How can you possibly take women's rights away? I'll tell you how. In Europe right now, in Sweden and Germany and all these European countries where they have all these feminist laws, they have the same family courts, the same white knight police. They have everything that fucks over men every day in these European countries. Oh, what was that? Is that you?
Hmm?
Oh, I heard a weird beep.
No, not from me.
Oh, I don't know. I just heard it again. What the fuck?
What's
Oh,
beeping?
okay, whatever.
Okay.
Something's beeping.
Not
Anyway,
me.
um, whatever. Anyway, so okay, in these no-go zones in these European countries, basically the Muslims they police their own. They have their Sharia courts. They have their Sharia patrols. They have if their women try to call the police to try to pull some feminist shit, the police ain't coming. But a fucking an ass whooping is coming. So, uh, so the Muslim women don't call the police. They don't go to feminist family court. It all gets handled inside the no-go zone by the Sharia patrols and the Sharia courts. And the feminist governments have proven they're such weak cucks. They won't hesitate to destroy an honest man's life. They'll destroy a man's life, take his kids away, take his money away, make him live out of his car, watch him kill himself, and not feel an ounce of pity or remorse. But then when there's like but they're scared to death. What's ironic is that they accuse everyone else of being Islamophobic, but they're scared to death of Muslims. Like they're so scared to death of a Charlie Hebdo situation or everything, they will bend over and kiss the asses of Muslims to try to keep the peace.
Yeah.
So they let them do whatever the fuck they want in their no-go zones, and they don't even try. Like they're talking about like bringing the National Guard in Sweden because it's gotten so bad that they have like AK-47s and grenades, and they're like throwing them into police stations. And it's like when it gets that bad, your country's fucked. And what's dumb is the government is still cucking for the migrants and the
well, isn't
so
isn't the Swedish prime minister a woman?
Of course, yeah, they're all feminists. They're feminists or they're cucks. And here's what's great. So some of these people in America, like these right wing kind of reporters, they went to Sweden to interview the people of Sweden, and they interviewed this guy, this like blonde haired, blue eyed, looks like PewDiePie's twin brother, kind of Swedish guy, and they were like, "Oh, what do you think of all the rapes going on? Blah blah blah. Are you going to defend, your country?" And he's like, "Oh, you're a racist. I'm not going to talk to you. You're a racist." So the people of Sweden, they have prepared for they've already rolled out the welcome mat, and they're like, "Please, please conquer us. Take our women, make them your war brides, and slay me, the weak beta cuck, slay me and fuck my women upon my dead body."
Well,
so the Muslims were like, okay, I guess. I mean, you did invite us here. I guess it would be rude of us not to kill you and fuck your women over your dead body. That would just make us bad guests.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly what you want.
Well, if you put your women in power, then that's what's going to happen. Eventually.
Yes.
It might not happen overnight.
Yeah.
It might happen in a week. It might not happen in a year.
It happened in
It happened really quick for
happened
Sweden, man.
How fast?
a generation. We're not talking like 3 waves of feminism. We're talking a generation. They created their feminist government like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Within a generation, their country is about to face civil war and conquest from within, from an armed insurgency
That's
that they invited.
You know what? Muhammad himself couldn't have done it better.
No. Like, how do you do better than your enemy inviting you into the heart of their city, spreading their legs for you, and their men defending you and white knighting for you, and basically as they're being destroyed by their women, as they're being divorced, raped.
Now, I got a question, guys.
Okay.
I got a question. Now, there's no real history on how the left really took foothold, to my knowledge, coming out of Sweden. Like we understand what's happened in America. There's documentation. We can measure it. But I don't know too much about how Sweden fell into this trap.
Well, they had a very generous welfare state. In fact, Sweden, they were like the envy of the world with their welfare system.
Mm-hmm,
and
right.
Welfare and feminism, they're like steak and blow jobs. They just go together.
But it's interesting. That's something I'd like to look into, is that history of it, because for something like that to collapse so quickly, I think it's worth everybody's time to kind of and get names.
Well, yeah, but I mean, ultimately, it comes down to women got people are telling me in South America and in Asia and even in some Muslim countries, feminism is starting to take root. And my first question is, do your women vote? And they're like, yeah, women got the vote in like 1960. I'm like, you're fucked.
You're fucked.
So over.
Yeah, you know what's interesting too is this
fucking hand strong.
This method of domination is not Islamic. Like, this is not anything taught in Islam. There's no Islamic teaching like, make sure your enemy's women can vote, and then slowly work your way into the country.
So what you do is you get their women to vote.
Yeah.
And then they're like, my friend, come here and fuck me over the corpse of my husband.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay.
See
it would be rude of me not to. You invited me. Of course I will fuck you over the corpse of your husband.
Yeah. Look, we are coming in. They are letting their women vote. This is exactly what Muhammad told us to do. This is Muhammad's
clearly
doctrine.
Want to die.
Yeah.
They for everyone who's saying like, oh, this is Islamophobic, I am serious. Let them know what religion you are.
I'm Muslim. I'm absolutely.
He's a Muslim.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's not Islamophobic. I am as a Muslim.
Yeah. So, and that's what I'm saying. Like this whole takeover of the West this isn't like some kind of doctrine of Islam. There's no fucking
No.
hadith that says wait till your enemies allow their women to vote and then
Well,
slowly work your way in through immigration and then fuck them. No, it doesn't exist,
well,
man.
here's the thing. Someone made this point in ancient Rome, which actually was multicultural, included people from the Middle East and North Africa within the Roman Empire. They were conquered and destroyed by white barbarians from Europe,
Yeah, yeah.
and it
From
was the
Sweden,
white.
from the Holy,
It was
during
well
the Holy Roman
Germanic
Empire.
the Germanic tribes, but
Hmm.
and it was the white barbarians that killed the men and carried off the women as war brides and rape slaves. So now it's just the shoes on the other foot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so what's funny? You look at the late period of ancient Rome, they gave their women all these rights. They didn't let them vote, but basically they did everything short of letting them vote. They gave them like no fault divorce and all this other bullshit. Their pimp hand got super weak, and then their empire
The Muhammad
collapsed.
hand. I call it the Muhammad hand. Muhammad kept his fucking
Well,
women in line, man.
there's a video I mirrored. It's from France, where this French feminist reporter goes into this no-go zone, and she goes into this cafe, and it's basically all men, and they're like, what are you doing here? It's like, oh, it's a cafe, and they're like, yeah, there's no women involved. Like, well, this is France, and they're like, I don't think you heard me. There's no fucking women involved. And she's like, oh, and she got out, and then she like tried to interview this Muslim woman, and they're like, and the Muslim woman was like, oh yeah, they don't treat us well, and the government should do something. And then this carpool of like men gave her like this dirty look, and she's like, I gotta go, and then she like walked away, and I'm like, damn, Muhammad, you keep that pimp hand strong, boy. Now,
Absolutely.
now for those of you, now for this isn't entirely a Muslim thing too, because if you go to India, which me and DDJ refer to as Kakistan, because the laws are as
It's horrible.
misandric in
Horrible.
India as they are in the West. However, there's a town in North India called Nagaland, which is Chin, but they're descended from like these warrior headhunters, and they couldn't give the faintest shit about feminism. So they had this super patriarchal society, and whenever the Indian government, now India again is Kakistan, when the Indian government tries to come into Nagaland to enforce the feminist laws, the men of Nagaland burn their cars down, burn their buildings down, like they don't give a shit. And just like the no-go zones in Europe, the government in India is so afraid of them, they just let them police themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Their women call and they're like, my husband isn't letting me abuse him, and he's not letting me divorce him and take all his money. And they're like, sorry, you live in Nagaland, we can't do anything. So like these Muslim women, like, I'd like to divorce my husband and take all his shit. And they're like, oh yeah, we'd love to help you. Yes, just come over to the family courts. Oh well, I live in this no-go zone. Oh, you're fucked then. Sorry, lady.
Yeah. Stay there.
Yeah, good luck. You might want to suck your husband's dick and calm him down. That's what we recommend.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. All
You might want to. You might want to just kind of back off when he's fucking his second wife.
maybe, yeah, maybe you should shut the fuck up. You ever tried that? Try to have a nice hot cup of shut the fuck up. Really does wonders to a guy who's mad.
Mm.
It's just, yeah, it's amazing how quickly how much these women, these feminists hate their own men, driving them to suicide, emasculating them, blaming them for everything, and then they will literally bend over and spread their legs for the very thing they claim to hate because they're afraid. And it's like, I look around, I look at like the men being destroyed. Now, and the worst are the men who, like white guys, they see there's an existential threat against not just the white race, but like Europe itself. Like even if white people survive, if they don't have a homeland, they're going to end up like the Jews. Wouldn't that be ironic? If white people ended up after all the fucking anti-Semitism shit, if that's they kind of like, again, like history repeating itself but in reverse, that would be deliciously ironic. But the thing is they see the answers in front of you. Like the way has been shown. Just fucking pimp hand that shit.
Yeah.
Take their rights away. It's easy. Like it's happening in front of you. It's not. This isn't even like a thought experiment. There's people doing it right now. In some cases, in your own country.
Okay.
And they're like,
Okay,
"Oh, that's sexist."
So
No,
what's
can't do
okay?
that.
So let's break this down. What is the difference? And I'll put it this way: what's in the average meal of the Muslim migrant that the fucking Swedish man isn't getting in his diet? What the fuck is going on?
Oh, male authority. That's the thing. Western men have been indoctrinated in this equality, egalitarian bullshit. Like the concept of men being in charge of women and having authority in society and over women and children and their families. That's sexist.
Yeah.
And also because women vote, this is the real fucked up thing. So because women vote, even people who know that feminism is a problem, they don't want to scare the women because if we scare the women, they'll vote for the Democrats, and we got to get Trump reelected. So we don't want to piss the women off. In fact, there was a trad thought who there was like a screen cap of some tweet that she did where basically someone called her a trad thought, which she absolutely was, but then she's like, "Oh, these you white nationalists need to defend me and get rid of these toxic males. Otherwise, I'm going to leave and go back to being a feminist. And so you need to white knight for me." And so, like, these trad thoughts are showing you they're just using you. They're using you for Patreon donations. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about like, first of all, women throughout history, if you just look at a fucking history book, women do not care about their own tribe. They will absolutely spread their legs for the conqueror.
They do not
So
give a fuck.
if you think your white women are going to like they give a shit about the white race or Europe or anything, they do not. They do not. They will gladly fuck Muhammad over your dead corpse
Well,
while laughing at you, laughing at how weak you are, even though they're the ones who made you that way. They'll blame you for everything. Like they're not just I can't. I can't. I tell them bluntly, this is what you got to do, and they're just like, nah, nah.
Well, this is something.
Well-
This is something that any of our listeners right now can confirm for themselves. What you just said, any white male, or let's say North American male, listening right now can go over to Asia and watch how the Asian women don't respect their own men. I mean, Nick, you can attest
Yep.
to that.
Right. Well, this is the exact reason why I don't view myself as MGTOW as everything he just stated. Is that it's this passive aggressiveness that's just not going to work. Like you're losing everything being passive aggressive.
Well, yeah. The problem is,
Well,
Yeah.
okay, let's put it this way. As far as Nick is concerned, when it comes down to MGTOW, we're not solving anything
Right.
well,
through our
well,
action.
because you can't. Well, you can. Oh, right. So here's a pro. There's a pro, and I've had people bring this up. They're like, well, what's MGTOW doing to solve the problem? What MGTOW is doing is trying to red pill men, because men can solve this problem today. But we need men. We need broad consensus of men throughout the society. Because if MGTOW, which is like, I don't know, 0.1% of the population, you got to think of how big the LGBT community is. They make up about 5% of the population
They
combined,
have money.
and they have money. Now take that group and divide it by 1,000, and that's probably how big MGTOW is. Because it's not just the manosphere. Because the PUAs, the MRAs, they're not as gynocentric as but they're like, it's basically MGTOW. We're like the last mainstay. We're the only ones that are right, that actually have the answer, but we're too small to do anything. So if we just stand up, the government will absolutely they'll destroy us. They'll smack us down and destroy us. So
You got to get the numbers.
we can't. Now here's the problem. What a lot of groups do when they try to build consensus is they try to build a political coalition by watering their message down. Oh, we need, like, the problem is the only way it works is if you don't water because by watering the message down, you basically ensure it's fucked, and then it's fucked. So you have to red pill men. You have to truly red pill men, and the only way this works is if you get men across the political spectrum on board with taking women's rights away, essentially. But you can't, like, if you start talking about like taking action, quote unquote.
Yeah.
You're just going to get yourself labeled a domestic terrorist group, and you're going to get squashed, and then you haven't accomplished shit.
Okay.
So
Not if you have numbers.
Yeah, but like, exactly. The reason why Nagaland gets away with it, the reason why these no-go zones exist in these countries, is because there's so fucking many people there.
all the
that they're
males
afraid-
in that
right
in there
exactly.
agree. Yeah.
There's MGTOW is not large enough to create a MGTOW no-go zone. The
I
government
disagree. I think it is, and you just don't know it.
Okay,
That's
well, yeah,
possible,
I
but let me
disagree.
put this in. Let me say this, and I said this before. MGTOW,
Okay.
as it is, as a, you know what I call it? I call it a discipline. I don't before I even call it a philosophy or a way of life. I call it a discipline.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I believe that this discipline of MGTOW does not equate well with proselytizing. It doesn't equate to that. You can't stand on a pulpit and say these things. Do you understand?
Well, that's why I don't try to make them. I don't try to red pill men into being MGTOW. I
No.
red pill them, and I talked about this in a recent video. You need to take basically the benefit. I'm trying to get people to understand patriarchy needs to happen. They need to take women's rights
Yes.
away.
Yes.
Now, that's an actionable thing. That's not necessarily MGTOW. In fact, there's not a direct connection between MGTOW and patriarchy. It's just that uh, feminism is is going to destroy Western civilization.
Okay. Wait.
And
Wait. Wait.
frankly,
Before you
all my
continue.
shit's here. All my shit's here, and I don't want it to fucking get destroyed in the fucking war to come. That's why I don't want the West to fall.
Yeah. Absolutely. Everybody's like that. But let me just finish that idea. I say that
Okay.
MGTOW doesn't fit well to proselytizing. But this is what is the opposite of any discipline? What is the opposite of proselytizing it? It's leading by example,
Right. Okay.
right?
I was wondering where you were going with that.
That's where I wanted to go with it. And this is really, again, this goes into the whole how the pro Sharia side of it is that when it comes down to let's say the Islam concept, the whole idea at its core is to lead by example. It's to show people that if you do this, things are better, rather than going door to door, like knocking on the door and going, "Have you heard the good news? Have you heard the good news?" Right?
Right. Can I tell you about my Lord and Savior?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get, but the problem is, almost because of the conditioning of gynocentrism, men only slowly come to MGTOW. Basically, it's almost they feel like they're giving up. Like they try, okay, and I get it. So first of all, they learn that society hates men and women have all this power and they can destroy you. So then their first thing is usually PUA. Oh well,
Yeah.
how do I overcome that? Oh, you can use this book and this system, and you could game women with your thick cock and be alpha. And then even though she even though she can destroy you because of all these laws, she won't because she'll be addicted to the feel of your
To
thick
your
cock and her
dick.
pussy.
Yeah.
Now, but then when you realize that's a big load of shit and it doesn't actually work, and even men who are super alpha get divorced, raped, and falsely accused. And the examples I like to use are Brad Pitt, who was literally Tyler Durden in Fight Club. He got divorced by Angelina Jolie. Ruth V, who's like the Mr. Return of Kings guy, his girlfriend cheated on him. And James Dean, who's a male porn star, not a gay male porn star either, like a straight male.
Yeah, I know James Dean.
That professionally, I guarantee he's more alpha than you. He can if he fucks better than you if he does it for a living. He got falsely accused of rape by his porn star ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
So if these men who are objectively more alpha than you can't protect themselves, you think you can is just fucking it's a delusion.
Again.
Very well said, man.
Yes, and this is again this is showing by example, showing by
Right.
example. And when you brought up the idea of men retreating into PUA first, do you know what that reminded me
Right.
of? That reminded me of my twilight years in Indonesia. In the last year I was in Bali.
Oh, someone's asking about the bunny chick. That's
Okay.
Nick. Nick's avatar is the chick with the bunny ears.
What is it, Nick?
Yeah. Is that like
What?
an X, or is that some like just a picture you found on the internet?
It's a picture I found from a guy who uploaded Syrian war footage, and YouTube took his channel down, but I was able to get the picture off of it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so that's like okay, that's like a prostitute from the Syrian war or something.
No, just a guy just had it. That was his icon, and that was the end of it. And I was able to grab it, save it.
Okay.
Mm,
Well,
what are you gonna do?
anyway, in my twilight years of coming out of Indonesia, I spent a year in Bali. Okay, and they were hard years. You know, one day we can discuss it, but they were hard years. It was one hard year, but a very interesting thing happened that I don't think I've mentioned this to anybody really. Is I met a couple of Indonesian men who I was able to, in a class I was teaching, which was simply a language class, but I kind of very wily, I put in a little bit of MGTOW thought into the lessons, very wily
Okay.
and quietly. And what that turned into was a couple of the older males in the class kind of approaching me and asking me about it. And then me taking them aside and outside as a teacher going, okay, listen, this is what I'm talking about. And this led to a few meetings of coffee shops. And this led to a few meetings of them bringing their friends who were at that time learning about PUAism, but in Indonesia. There were men,
Right.
and they were making money off of selling books on how to fucking.
I know it's out of control now.
The bad thing about PUA, it forces men or tries to get them to change who they are. If that's not what you are, then I don't understand why you're trying to do that, because you're
Well,
just putting a mask
basically,
over your face.
what PUA does is it teaches basically. Okay, if you want to be PUA and be alpha, you just have to not give a shit. Like, treat a woman like you're not interested in sex with her, and you'll act alpha around her, because what turns a woman on is that you're not interested in her
Yeah.
pussy,
Yeah.
because that communicates that you're higher valued than her, and that tickles her hypergamy. Now, people, when I say that, people make the comment, "Oh, what if you're ugly?" And I'm like, "Well, she wasn't gonna fuck you anyway, but dude, like,
You might as well
fucking
try.
pay her." Yeah,
You must have
look her up
fucking
on yeah, look her up on Craigslist, find out she's a call girl, and just pay her for sex if you're that interested. But like, these guys are like, "Oh, I'm super ugly and I have a tiny pimple dick, but I'm so alpha. All these women love me." You're full of shit.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
full
look,
of fucking shit.
well, this is the thing. I was introduced to a whole huge PUA community in Indonesia. I didn't realize it. They were doing like talks and traveling around the goddamn island and islands. It was incredible. And they were showing me literature. Like, they were putting literature down on it. Imagine this. I'm sat at a coffee table at a cafe in Bali, and all these Indonesian guys around me. And the only reason I'm there is because my students liked my message, which was not PUA message. It was MGTOW. And I brought them to this table, and they invited their friends. And their friends are throwing this literature down from these PUA classes. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
And this is in
Right. No.
Indonesia.
Well, there's money to. You see, guys want to get laid. In PUAs, they have a message. They have a system that they're ready to sell you. It's like, like that meme about free real estate. They're here to sell you free real estate. That's what it is.
Yeah, but
it's all bullshit.
But this is the fascinating thing from the story, is that after they threw all this literature down in front of me, and these classes and lessons and times that these classes were going to happen and where they were going to happen and who this guy was, and showing me videos of this guy. I sat down with them and I met them a couple times a week for about a month. All right. And I turned every single one of them off of PUAism. Every single one of them. I was like,
yeah, it's just a scam. Some of it can work. Like, it can work in the way that, it can help give you confidence and help you make positive changes in your life. But that's basically like saying that, doing something that had like an ancillary benefit. Like let's say you joined a cult, and part of the cult was they would force you to go on a diet.
yeah,
And
that's
so,
very common in cults,
so
actually.
yes, so you lost weight because you joined this cult that made you go on a diet. Okay, yeah, the cult helped you lose weight, but don't join cults. Like, that doesn't make it a good idea to join the cult just because they helped you lose weight as like a secondary or tertiary benefit of the cult. So yeah, PUA can help you like work out, and it can help you gain a little bit of confidence, but it's mostly bullshit.
They made a lot of money, some of these Indonesian
They do. Well, because
hucksters.
they're telling these guys that they'll show them how to get laid, and a lot of these guys are fucking losers. They're like, like these Indian guys. They want the bob and the vagine, and yeah, they're hopeless. So a guy tells them, "I'll teach you how to get laid," and they're pay me a little bit of money. They're ready to
very
open
good,
up
my
their
dear.
wallets. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, TFM, it only took me a couple weeks to get these guys unwashed from the PUAism, and it wasn't
Right.
through proselytizing. It was very simply
Right. No, I get it.
they came to me first, and I was like, "Holy shit, I don't have a message for you, but I'm gonna fucking unwash your mind from that shit real quickly.
Right. Well, but the other thing is we kind of started on, people never really come immediately to MGTOW.
Yeah.
Even when they know there's a problem, they start with PUA stuff. They think they could use their giant, thick alpha dick to beat the gynocentrism away with their thrusts. But when they learn that doesn't work, they try the MRA thing. Okay, well the problem is clearly the law. The laws are shit. The government is too gynocentric. We're going to petition the government, just like Martin Luther King, just
And
like
we'll
this.
get women on our side.
Right, because women love men. They're not self-centered cunts that just care about their own interests and are spoiled, entitled children. They're just like us. They're rational thinking adults. And then they realize, no, women are giant spoiled children with tits who only think about themselves and couldn't give the faintest shit about you. And they're not going to help you. In fact, I don't know, because you know who DDJ is, right? He's like my.
DDJ.
Oh, okay. Because we haven't talked in so long. He's he's a paralegal. He's kind of like my co-host on a lot of my podcasts. He has his own channel called
Oh
Misanthropy Today.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So he has his own channel, and he interviewed an anti-feminist woman called Barbara Here for You. Something I want to say that's right, but it might be a different name. Anyway, so she's an anti-feminist, and she even agreed that the laws are anti-male. Women have all these rights and privileges they didn't earn, and that are oppressive to men and are unfair to men. All right. And then so he asked her, well, would you be willing to give those rights up? And she said, no,
Yeah.
I'm not I wouldn't give them up. But then he asked her later in the interview, well, if men took your rights away, what would you do? And she'd be like, I would just accept it and go along with it. And it's like, there you go, man.
Yeah.
She has told you in her own words, she will never help you reform the law. But if you just fucking strengthen that fucking pimp
You just
hand,
slap her hard
fucking
enough.
yeah,
man.
just here's the thing. My pimp hand is named respect. So all you have to do is show women a little respect.
Yeah.
And they come around. Just a little. It just takes a little bit of respect.
No,
No.
that doesn't work. I
Doesn't
don't
work?
think so.
Well, look.
Yeah. Oh,
In real
Oh,
time.
have
In
you
real
tried it?
time, it doesn't work.
has not hitting a bitch, scientifically speaking, given you the desired result?
What, being respectful?
Oh no, my pimp hand is named respect.
Oh yeah.
The pimp
I
hand
show-
is a slap, man. It ain't.
I show women respect. Sometimes I just have to show them respect, and they get it. But sometimes I
The
have
Muhammad
to
hand.
I have
Muhammad had a thick hand.
sometimes I have to dole out the respect. I have to demonstrate the respect. Sometimes it goes. I have to go beyond showing it to them. I have to demonstrate the respect. But a few applications of the respect, and they're like, "Oh, I get it. I get it. I'm ready. I'm ready to do whatever I need to do."
Well, I want to.
And yeah,
I want to just finish what I was saying before. Is that while I was in Indonesia with all these men, it really turned into what happened is they suddenly started to look at me and go, "Hey, you could make money with this information," and I'm just telling them about MGTOW. And they're like,
Right.
you should do what these PUAs are doing and have a show and da 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 da. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works, man.
no,
It doesn't fucking work like that. And and I actually, about 3-4 months before I left Indonesia for good, I interviewed one man, and it's on my channel. His name was Budi, and I interviewed him, and he was like one of the only MGTOW Indonesians out there. And I want to say this. I want to make a shout out to the Indonesian MGTOW that I see popping up and coming into the channels of my YouTube channel and coming into my Twitter. I know who you are. You talk to me and you're there, and I think it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And unfortunately, I'm not there anymore for it to continue, but I saw it. I'm seeing it happen, even in that
Yeah.
fucking country, man.
Well, I have subscribers from India, and we had a guy from Nigeria on the show a few weeks ago. It was there's MGTOW basically anywhere where they speak English.
Yes.
Any English speaking country anywhere in the world, MGTOW is going, and it's not going there like feminism. is spreading because the UN and George Soros and
Yeah,
the government
ideology and
are funding
politics.
it.
Yeah.
They're funding it. They're what they do is they dangle money in front of these governments, like we're just going to build some schools. Don't you want free schools?
Diversity. It's
Right.
diverse.
And then, well, actually, what was it? There was a country. Basically, they dangled money in front of the. I can't remember the country. Maybe someone in the chat knows. They built these schools, these UN schools, these George Soros feminism schools, and they started indoctrinating the women, turning them to radical feminists. And the men did not put up with it. Like when the women came out with their bullshit, they got fucking smacked down. And
Nice.
and the thing about it is like these international feminist groups, like they never do shit, and people are like these trad cons. They're always like, how come the feminists aren't protesting the Middle East and blah blah, because they don't give a shit. All right, there's
Well,
no
you know,
money
it's
to
funny
be
you mention
there's
this,
no
though,
money
but
to be
those
made protest. Well, there's no money to be made protesting the Middle East. If feminism goes and protests the oppression of women in the Middle East, they're not going to get any money from it, and they could get a Charlie Hebdo situation if they piss off the wrong people. So it's a combination of actual Islamophobia. They're scared of a Charlie Hebdo retaliation, and there's no money to be made. However, blaming white men for everything, accusing everybody of fucking Me Too. You said a joke I didn't like 20 years ago. Give me
That's
money.
Soros money.
Well, I'm just saying, like, there's money to be made, and there's no threat of any retaliation. Because imagine if Harvey Weinstein just backhanded Rose McGowan, like out of nowhere. He's like showing up. Rose McGowan's like, "You touched my ass in the '90s," and he just belted the shit out of her, like knocked her fucking teeth in, and like she just like went down like a sack of potatoes, and he just started fucking like WWE style beating the shit out of her entourage and beating the shit out of all the feminists. Like he's just going through beating the shit out of these feminists. Like people wouldn't know what to do with themselves if men just rose up and started smacking feminists in the
Yeah.
face.
Imagine
We're,
if,
we're
if imagine
at their
if
mouth.
imagine if Jordan Peterson in his last interview just stood up and smacked that
Uh,
bitch right in
Yeah,
the
it's like
fucking
what,
face.
so what you're saying is I'm a lobster, and he just like smacked her across the face. He's like, no, you dumb bitch, I didn't call you a fucking lobster, but now I am. You're as dumb as a fucking lobster. Why don't you shut the fuck up and suck my dick? Like people would be like, what the fuck? People would know what to do. No, if one guy does that, he's just gonna get crucified.
Yeah, yeah.
But I want you to just go to come to a happy place with me. We're men across the West. These feminists run their mouth and they do their bullshit, and guys just tell them to shut the fuck up and give them a good hard
What about
hand
those
across the face. I
what-
would cry. I would cry. I would literally
shed a
shed
tear? Yeah.
tears. No, it wouldn't be one tear. Like my eyes would be so blurry, I wouldn't be able to see. There'd be tears of joy streaming in my face. I'd be like,
Alhamdulillah.
Hanuman. We did it, Hanuman. We did it. We saved them all.
Alhamdulillah. Praise
Yeah, I don't
be
know.
to
I might,
God.
in reality, the West is probably going to be fucked. I'm probably going to have to convert to Islam. So I may actually have to get with you to learn some Arabic and get my hadiths and everything.
Yeah, I
But,
can, I can, I can teach
hopefully-
you some of the lingo you need to know. It's pretty simple stuff. But
There you go. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get
Here's
there.
can I interrupt you?
Yeah, go
I
ahead,
got something. You mentioned that these other countries didn't tolerate the feminist narrative. When you're talking about these schools, the difference though is the law in those countries, mostly in the third world, are tilted towards more patriarchal. So
Right.
you don't have that in the West. So your police are working against you and men's own best
Well,
interest.
Here's the thing. In these other countries, the men are loyal to their culture and their society more than the government. If the government passes a bullshit law that shits all over their culture and their society,
Yeah, they don't enforce it.
the police won't enforce it, and the police
Correct.
and the men, they rise up and slay them. So these laws don't happen. Now in the West, if this happens all the time. I've known military police who have to go out and arrest a man, basically because of the Duluth model. They have to arrest a man they know is the actual victim. the woman, and they'll tell the cops, you have go arrest the man, and they're like, but he's the victim, you have to do it, that's what the law says. And it's like this, because men in the police and in the military and so forth, their loyalty is to the idea of government, that they follow bullshit laws and they enforce bullshit laws, and they have this attitude of, well, I'm just a cog in the machine, I'm just doing my job. But in these third world countries, they don't give a shit about that. If somebody told them, like, imagine in a Muslim country, some George Soros funded politician decided women are now equal to men, and women can now have no fault divorce and take a man's kids and family away. And then when everyone's like, well, what about what our religion and culture and society says? Like, yeah, that's sexist. We're not doing that anymore. That politician would wake up with a knife to their throat, and you'd never see them again. They would vanish, and they'd find a body a couple months later, completely, like, torn
Yes,
apart.
you,
And that
you
would
are
be at the
correct,
end
but
of
you
the
have to understand that in North America, we've been deracinated through the suburbs. So I'm Italian, but for whatever reason, I'm lumped into the same category as Russians when we have absolutely nothing in common, not even our religion's common. So
I
you see how that kind of works, how that played out.
Well, it's just, this is there's a lot of things that, basically, the biggest problem is we've had so many generations of feminism that the will to preserve patriarchy has basically been bred out of men. And women only, and then what happens is every time things get bad and there's like a war, the feminists disappear. They shave their armpits, they bake an apple pie, and the men think our women are back, guys. Oh, they're not horrible fucking cunts anymore. Oh, now we can get married and have families. Oh, good times are here again. And then the war is over, and then a new wave of feminism starts. And they're like, it was all a trick, you fucking bitch. But they keep men, because they love women, because they want to have families, and women are good liars, and especially women are trying to get laid. They're willing to believe a woman who's obviously lying. So it's a combination of, and this is the thing, I've talked about this before. Men have a much more powerful sex drive than women, like 9 times more powerful. And also, it's been scientifically proven that when men are horny, their upper brain functions stop working. Like the old adage of, when you're thinking with one head, you're not thinking with the other. That's actually literally true. Your logical, like, upper brain functions actually stop working when you get horny. So nature
When you need to
has given,
release.
right, when you're horny, nature's like, let me turn this brain off for you. And they do this. The whole point is, it's to force men to put up with women, because we're so horny and our brain stops working when we're horny. So it's nature just kind of nerfs us. It gives us this handicap to force us to deal with women, because they're such a liability. We wouldn't deal with them otherwise. But
Yeah, we'd probably fucking chain them all up or something if we didn't have that.
well, we'd treat them like children. They would be second class citizens, like
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
Now, when I say that, I'm not talking about like they be property, but like children, they are under the authority of their parents.
Yeah.
They don't vote. They don't they can't, like, if they're being abused, you can't rape or abuse children, but they are under parental authority. Women used to be that way when it came to men. And then we had this great idea of equality, and it was horrible mistake, the worst mistake in the history of mistakes.
Yeah. I want to point something out now to the viewers and the listeners. Hello, you guys there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
I hear.
Everybody's here.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, what's going on?
Okay. So, sorry. Everybody kind of cut out when I started talking, and I didn't know. Anyway,
Yeah. Well,
look. If you look at my live stream right now, there's a picture in the middle, and in big letters it says "Killdozer." And
Okay.
and underneath it says, "Sometimes reasonable men must do unreasonable things." Is this not what we're talking about now?
Well, I have a different saying that I've used for probably over a year. It's like, sometimes doing the right thing means being the bad guy.
Exact same thing. Now,
Yeah.
now,
I've been saying that for a while.
now, TFM, do you know what Killdozer is?
Yep.
No? Okay. Nick, What is
I don't know who
Killdozer?
Killdozer is. It sounds like a Marvel villain or something.
Nick,
What,
what is
Killdozer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Explain.
the guy the muffler repairman from Colorado that built that tank out of a bulldozer and bulldozed town hall.
You've never heard of that?
No.
Yeah. Look up
It's an epic
Killdozer.
story, man. Yeah, look up Killdozer for sure.
It's fucking amazing. It was a man. Okay, what was his motivation to build the Killdozer, Nick?
Oh, dude, you're breaking up hard.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good
so
now.
it's a Skype thing.
Skype thing's going on here.
Well, it was a guy who is a single, blue collar, kind of like a hick living in Colorado, I think like in the rural parts of Colorado. And through zoning and code laws, they forced this guy to give up his muffler shop. So he lost all of his money and everything. He tried, suing town hall over it. Obviously, he lost because bigger money came into the town. And he was small, he was a small fish in a big, in the pond. And he took him about 6 months or a year to build a tank out of his what do you call it, a bulldozer.
Look at the
Okay.
picture. Look at the picture on my stream, man. He built that shit. He welded it all
He
together.
armed it, a bunch of guns. He had a 50 caliber sniper rifle in it. What is it? The 50 caliber sniper rifle. He decked it all out, man. It was really cool, and he recorded everything he did when he designed the design process. How he did the drawings and where he was going to
Gotcha.
do everything.
So he basically took a bulldozer and up armored it to make it like a
tank.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
There you go.
and there was like news people watching this guy, and he drove that fucking bulldozer through town and tore down every fucking building that did him wrong.
Yep. So it can be done. It can be done, boys.
It can be
Right.
done. In the end,
I know.
In the end, what happened, Nick? He killed himself.
Yeah, because he got stuck or whatever, and someone knocked out his radiator, so it started overheating. He was done.
But man, you should see the damage he did beforehand. Now imagine 15 killdozers, right? Hello?
Yeah, no, 100%.
No. So no, I'm listening.
Imagine, imagine 15 of them running through the town. Nobody could stop you, man. Nobody.
Well, I've made this point. Here's the thing. Here's the problem. So it's not the 1700s anymore. Back in the 1700s, the local militia was basically on the same level, more or less, with the army. Now in 2018, because right now everyone's talking about gun control. Your semi-automatic AR-15 with a 15-round magazine isn't going to do shit against the modern military.
You need some you need some killdozers.
Right. No. Here's the truth. The way isn't for men to build up armored bulldozers and mow down buildings. It's just that's not. Now, again, going back to what we talked about before, the immigrants in Islam, in Europe, and the Nagaland guys in India have shown how you do this. You create your own little enclave, and you basically tell the feminist government to go fuck themselves, and they leave you alone because there's too. They're pussies. These feminists are and they're soy boys like Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
Justin Trudeau gives money to ISIS fighters coming back to Canada. He is the biggest fucking cuck.
He's
Castro's
son. He's Castro's son.
If someone threatened to hit him, he'd shit his pants. If someone made a fist, like they were going to punch him in the face, he would get into the fetal position and shit his pants. He's such a fucking bitch. And he's the Prime Minister of Canada.
Have you seen that Trudeau boxing video?
He actually boxed.
He was a boxer. But there's a video up you can see.
Justin Trudeau was a boxer.
Yes, he was a boxer. And there's a video up you can see him boxing an old man, and he's getting his ass kicked.
I'm
not kidding,
amazed.
man.
I'm amazed he even put the gloves on. I'm amazed he didn't fall over, hunched over, dragging the gloves on the ground.
He got his ass whooped. He even said, "Okay, I'm gonna put this I'm gonna. Okay, this is just a loop. Hold on.
Well, okay. My point is though. My point is, you don't need a bunch of killdozers. You don't need to wage war against the government. The government, like feminist governments, are by definition weak pussies who won't fight back. Uh, but you have to have a base. You have to have like a thing. So
I let me
the
tell you, I disagree with you because there's too many fires to be put out, and also we have the weight of attorneys. There's no tort reform on anything. 93% of all litigation lawsuits take place in the United States, man. The weight of the lawyers is a big problem.
Now I've just put up a
that
live
how
stream.
wait
Hold on, I'm
how is
sharing
that
a
an
screen
how
of.
is it an argument for or against anything?
Sorry.
What is that
Well, you're
even argue?
saying to start it, you're saying to do it local, right? You're saying
No,
start
I'm
doing it
saying
local?
well, no, I'm saying what I'm saying is trying to if you wage like what they're talking about. I mean, Sweden's going to be a good test to see who's right because they're talking about bringing the Swedish military in to flesh out these no-go zones, and there's probably going to be a legit like civil war or an armed insurgency, and we'll see who wins. If Sweden actually loses, if the Swedish military gets their asses kicked by these migrant fighters, and they actually take out the military and then start like basically just raise the flag over the capital, then shit. Basically, all they did was they went in there, created an area, basically like leave us the fuck alone. And they did. They get left alone. The no go zones, no one fucks with them.
Finland, Norway, and Russia, for that matter, would not let that happen in their backyard. Those
Well,
countries are not as gynocentric. Norway's not that bad, and certainly not Russia.
why? But why would Russia
It's in
defend?
their backyard.
Well, then conquer them. Don't defend the fucking feminist Swedish.
Yeah,
Like
good point. Yeah, it's
if we're
true.
gonna have yeah, like if you're these feminist dipshits are going to allow their countries to fall, and you're gonna have to bail them out, then fine, we bail you out. But now you are, all your base are belong to us. We're
Well,
not
don't you
gonna.
want to see it happen? Come on, I'm a little bit curious to see what's going to happen.
No, I'm. It's gonna happen whether I'm curious or not. I think having a no go zone solution is more viable than an insurrection against the government. That's going to get you, especially in the United States, because of the Patriot Act. First of all, you have no privacy, and you know people talk. If you seriously started talking about, making bulldozer tanks and actually declaring war against the government, you're going to get all these agents are going to go. They already know where you live. Like there's bugs all over the place. They know exactly where you live. It doesn't matter how many VPNs you use or how many firewalls you put up. They know where you live. They're going to come to your house and they're going to arrest you and they're going to break up your little club and they're going to arrest
They
everyone as
couldn't
domestic.
stop a 17-year-old doing a school shooting. Are you kidding me? This government's so incompetent. It's
Well, no,
buckling under its own weight.
right. There's a different. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the reasons are he was a DACA immigrant, so they're like, oh, we don't with that. We don't want to do anything against the immigrants. That makes it, the agenda look bad. The other problem is, a 17-year-old kid or how old? I don't know how fucking old he was.
Yeah, he's
He
17.
okay, so he's a kid shooting up a school. That is leagues differently than a organized group trying to overthrow the United States government.
All right, but what look what took place in Oregon? What was that, a year ago? Where the standoff in Oregon? I mean, that was just a small group of guys. What was that, 50 to 100? I mean, they made a stance right there.
Right, but imagine if they were. I mean, just remember what happened with fucking Koresh and all that shit. Once you start building weapons, like okay, they were like, it was like the Bureau of Land Management, and it was the thing about feeding land and shit, whatever. Now, but if you're like, we're going to overthrow the United States government, we're going to build bulldozer tanks. No, now they're not going to send in some FBI. They're going to send ATF. They're going to send fucking wet works people to come in. They're going to kill you. Just like they kill all these cults and shit like that. They're going to go in.
Yeah, Waco, Ruby
You're gonna shoot.
Ridge.
Yeah, they're going to kill you. They're going to arrest you or they're going to kill you. So that's not a viable solution, in my opinion. Is any talk of overthrowing the government or forming a militia? It's not going to work. You're only going to. I mean, look. Someone made the comment a while ago. The Southern Poverty Law Center. I mean, why don't they talk about Southern poverty? That's what I don't know. They never seem to talk about Southern poverty. They have opinions about everything else. But apparently, all pro male groups are now hate groups. So
So they're
any opposite.
declaring war on you. Don't you see? That's where I'm getting now.
Oh,
This is where I get
sure.
mad.
They sure are.
They're
They-
asking for
right.
blood.
They sure are. But it's not the 17. My counterpoint is it's not the 1700s anymore. It's not like if this were the 1700s anymore. Yeah, we'd be loading our muskets. We'd be marching on Washington. But it's 2018. Your semi-automatic AR-15 isn't going to do shit. You're not going to build a fucking killdozer tank. That's not going to happen. There's not going to be killdozer tanks going down the street. There's not going like the revolution will not be televised. What would happen if you start talking about insurrection? You're going to get labeled a domestic terrorist groups. You're going to be arrested or killed. End of story.
So
However,
what do you call MS-13? What do you call the Bloods? What do you call the Crips? What are they?
they're not based in the U.S. That's the thing. The reason why these
MS-13
no-go
is in America. Bloods and Crips. I'm talking about just gangs and stuff in the United States. The migrant gangs.
Okay, so you're talking just like you're talking about the school shooter. Completely different. We're talking Bloods and Crips. Are the Bloods and Crips trying to overthrow the United States government? No, they're just drug gangs. They're
Right.
drug gangs. They're a drug gang, a school shooter, and a domestic terrorist group. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things doesn't.
I understand that, but if you can see that a lot of these other, because they're more tribal, and again, I think that's what you're describing is trying to, somewhat more of a grassroots movement to try to make things, more palatable on a local level.
Well, now using the Bloods and the Crips as an example, let's say because there are, not I would say no-go zones, but there are bad areas of town that like the police don't go to a lot, and basically they're kind of lawless. If you had that kind of area, but basically it was men policing their own, and feminism had no sway there, basically a no-go zone for feminism, the government wouldn't fuck with you because you're not trying to overthrow the government. That's the difference. The reason why school shooters happen, the reason why Bloods and Crips are allowed to live, they're not going in there with ATF and all these government agencies to kill. If the Bloods and the Crips tried to overthrow the government and tried to create some like Blood Cripistan, the government would kill them all. They would use every weapon at their disposal to kill them all. But because they just kill each other, and yeah, there's drugs and death, but they're no threat to the government. Once you make yourself a threat to the government, they're going to spare no expense fucking your shit up until you're dead or in jail. So this talk of let's overthrow the government, that the government is at war with you, that's going to get you labeled a domestic terrorist group and you're going to be arrested or killed. But if you're not trying to overthrow the government, you're just trying to be left alone in your own little enclave, your own little no-go zone. And the thing is, they don't even have to be violent. You look at the Amish or these other religious groups
Hutterites,
that live in a patriarchal enclave.
Hutterites and Mennonites.
The Millerites, the primitive Baptists, I guess I've heard of them.
Mormons.
Mormons not so much. So there's maybe some offshoots of Mormons, but a lot of these religious communities are very patriarchal. They police themselves, again, the key is they're not trying to overthrow the government. So in the short term, MGTOW on an individual basis is the only answer, the only rational answer for men. If small little enclave started springing up where patriarchy was enforced, like a no-go zone where there was Sharia courts and Sharia patrols, but it was like it doesn't have to be Muslim. It could be like in Nagaland where it's Christian, or it could be anything. It just has to have male authority. As long as nobody's a threat to the government, they're not going to bother you.
So wait,
All right.
hold
Well,
on.
the one thing though is, all right, go.
Okay. Oh, just quickly. MGTOW is like a personal no-go zone for a man. It's like
Right, but unfortunately, and people have pointed this out, this is a lot of people's opposition to MGTOW. If you apply MGTOW to a society, that society dies because nobody's having kids.
nobody's reproducing. But
And
but does feminism
Yeah,
reproduce? Really? Does it? I don't think so.
No, right. So I agree, but my point is, MGTOW, you can't create a viable society off of MGTOW. MGTOW is a survival tactic.
So
Now,
MGTOW is like the okay. We're down to this many rations of food and water. It's time to fucking curl up and survive, right?
no, okay, no,
and then when
MGTOW,
when it breaks, okay, hey, go ahead,
MGTOW is you're trying to survive.
right?
You know, you're not the opposition. You're the resistance.
Uh-huh.
You're just trying to survive.
Your reaction,
at,
which is resistance.
At some point, the society is going to collapse, and then society is going to have to be rebuilt. It's either going to collapse or it's going to be conquered. At that point, you know, once the gynocentric society falls, MGTOW wins. Now, I'm not saying anyone has to get married at all. But I'm saying, like, without the gynocentric laws, you can have a family. And the thing is, animals, through some miracle of science, can have families without marriage. It's crazy.
It's
Like, it's almost like marriage doesn't exist in nature, and yet animals don't go extinct. It's crazy.
Okay, let me interrupt. The people that will survive are the people that are actually religious. Like, again, these we were discussing these religious group. You take a look at Islam in Europe. So the ones that are fallen for the feminism and a little bit of the MGTOW for that matter are the ones that are not religious. So the secular society, the native population, is going to be replaced by the ones that held onto their roots from whatever their older culture was.
Well, no, because you're confusing us. You're confusing things. It's not religion that's the answer. It's male authority that's the answer. You can have male authority without
Spirituality,
religion.
I call
Where
it.
are those? Those are
However,
usually mostly religious.
A lot of times, yeah. Basically, I can't think of an example of a secular group which
With the
isn't
male
egalitarian.
authority.
Most secular groups abandon male authority as primitive.
Yes,
But I think,
but religion
hopefully,
doesn't.
knock on wood, we've learned our lesson. We're like, oh, male authority, maybe that was a case of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. People, when they thought they evolved past the need for religion, they threw away concepts like male authority and patriarchy as a religious thing, and they're like, oh, let's embrace equality, and that did not work out. But here's my problem with religion as the answer, and I've made this point in the past. The problem with using religion is,
It's not.
what if there's no God? Let's just go on a journey. Let's just entertain the idea that there's no God at all.
Well, then we come back full circle to what we are today.
Well,
Right.
no, but my point is, if there's no God, and your entire moral and social system is predicated on a religion, then people are going to abandon the religion, and they're going to abandon. They're going to once again throw out the baby with the bathwater.
But the problem is, this is the thing: if you have a God as a patriarchal head, it's not a matter of proving or disproving it exists. It functions.
It's right
and
and
it
wrong.
Works. Yes, it functions and it works.
But the problem is, if the basis of your moral system is a divine being, and that divine being doesn't exist,
but
then
you can't prove it. You can't prove
Yeah,
it or disprove it.
because it's
goes back to that.
it's unfalsifiable. It's not worth
Yes.
even talking about.
Yes.
You can't prove it, so I don't give a shit.
But you can't disprove it either. And
My
that's-
point is, without God, people are going to reject the social system and the moral system that's predicated on God, and then we're going to go back to, let's try egalitarianism.
No. But hold on.
Right.
You can't prove there is a God or not.
I don't care.
But
it's unfalsifiable.
Yes, it's
I don't-
unfalsifiable. So
Okay.
what happens
Like,
is
there's no God. If there's a God, strike me dead now, or there's no God.
No.
Yeah, listen. The people that are replacing you believe in God.
There's God.
yeah,
The
there's
people
the
that are
people.
replacing you believe in God.
Feminists don't believe in God. The Muslims that are taking
Right.
over fucking Europe do. That's
not
the
because
difference.
That's not why. It's male authority and patriarchy
Yes.
is why.
And male
Reason why
authority
the
and
fertility-
patriarchy thrives in
gave them the
religion.
authority.
It thrives
Okay,
in it.
I'm gonna blow your mind. Okay.
Okay.
There's actually been Iran actually has a low fertility rate because Iran allows their women to go to college and go and have careers, and their fertility rate is in the shitter.
Uh-oh.
Now, if religion is the answer, it's first of all, it's not. That's my point. If you have a religious country that gives their women rights, your fertility rate is going to go in the shitter. If you can have a secular country that keeps their pimp hand strong, and lo and behold, your society is going to thrive and you're going to have a high fertility rate and all that stuff. Well, you do not need a god. Now,
I think you
traditionally,
do. I do think you do.
well, agree to disagree.
I think there's no
Because,
way to avoid it. Like
well, what about
even
MGTOW? MGTOW isn't a religion,
no,
and
it's not a
somehow,
religion. But
And you're
like,
not
think about
fucking
it.
anything in MGTOW.
But this is the thing,
but
though, is in our society today, the society that bred what we call MGTOW today, it's godless. It's absolutely
right,
godless, and it's looking for one. And men that come out of it are looking for one. And that God they're
A good
looking for
point.
is
looking for
patriarchal.
God.
Yeah, they're looking for a
Well,
leader.
if you
Bob.
want to define, you're trying to
I'm not
redefine
looking
God.
for
Then
God.
you're trying to define God.
I'm not. I don't. There is no God. I'm not trying to define anything. I'm
There's no
Okay,
saying,
God.
okay.
There's no God based on what definition of what you say God is. Now, look, I'm not trying to say there is a God either.
okay,
However,
is God the Force from Star Wars? Is he in everything? And he's all around in the rock, in the trees, in the ship.
well, what does our culture understand of what it is? It's usually a male authority, is it not? Is it not?
Right.
God is not. Are you okay? Are you
But
saying
you
that?
have to understand, Turd, where he's coming from is that, again, the countries, the nations, or where these people are coming
I'm
from that are
talking.
going to
I'm
replace
talking
you,
about. I'm
believe
talking
in
about
God.
a divine being that exists in reality.
Yeah, yeah. And
A
this is
God, a
and these
God
countries that are
as
replacing us believe in that,
Right, so
100%.
they believe in it. Right.
Absolutely believe
That's
it.
that
what's
doesn't.
happening,
But
man.
there are also religious countries. But there's also religious countries that have a low fertility rate because they gave their women rights.
You point
Religion.
Which
at
is
one
who? Which is
country.
which one? Iraq, Iran? Is that the only one you can mention?
Look at Japan. Japan doesn't believe in God. They're falling to shit also.
It doesn't. Okay, I mean, I could look up an entire list of countries that are religious and have a low fertility rate.
You
I just
know as well
haven't.
as I
I haven't
do
done it.
that the countries with the highest fertility rates are fucking high religious countries,
Yeah,
especially the Muslim
super
countries.
religious.
But how do
They're
you judge that?
Africa.
Because on paper, America has a high Christian population because on people's birth certificates they mark the box for
yeah, that's a
Christian.
birth
But
certificate.
in reality, they don't go to church. They don't believe. They don't really believe in God.
Yeah, but your
So
Hispanic population is replacing you in America, and they're ultra Catholic.
And they're all ultra Catholic. I mean, America is
but no,
being
they're
replaced by Muslims and Hispanic Catholics. That's it.
And that's going to be a bloodbath.
South America is becoming an SJW shithole, and the Pope is an SJW.
Yeah,
So they're replacing.
but
My point is,
that doesn't matter. What's being replaced? Like who's reproducing? Not the fucking
it's
Protestant
it's
whites.
not
Secular
because that's not
society. The
because of
secular
religion. It's
society is
because
not.
of they didn't give. All you got to do. You don't need a sky genie. You just take women's rights away. That's all. You don't need a god for that. You just take women's
You
rights
may be
away.
right. You may be right. You
I
actually
know
may be right.
I'm right. I've done the research.
No.
You don't need to believe in any particular religion.
No,
You
no,
just,
I'm not talking about
They
religion.
exist
But
to do that,
wait, what
okay.
was that?
I've learned a
right?
lot
The,
since.
the,
Oh.
the first story in the first
Oh,
story
no,
in the Bible.
Celestina's
The
learned a
sex
lot,
doll.
senpai.
Oh, okay.
There we go. She's doing the caramel dancing.
Look, TFM. I was ready to shut my mouth
Yes.
for a woman that's not even real.
I could touch her. She's not a figment of my imagination. She's more real than
A
God.
facsimile. I was ready to shut my mouth for the sound of a woman that's a facsimile of reality. All right? In that
Okay.
one moment, I was about to do that.
AM. What is the first story in the Bible?
Adam and Eve, creation.
That's right. And what can we learn from Adam and Eve? Don't give this bitch rights.
Yeah, of course. It was like,
Well, no, the
you're
Bible
from my rib.
tells okay. The Bible tells
I think
it
your
explicitly
Eve
says
is talking too much right now at TFM.
she's you don't worry about her. You don't worry about you worry about God. Okay, you worry about God. I'll worry about
You
Celestina.
worry about your
No,
Eve.
but
I'll worry about you. Worry about your Eve.
now the Bible endorses male authority, and that's fine. Now, not all religions are created equal. There are some religions or philosophies which don't endorse male authority, and there are philosophies which aren't necessarily religious or supernatural which endorse male authority. My point is, and my original point that started
Is
this whole
God
chain of
supernatural?
conversation. Yes, yes, God is supernatural.
How?
A being lives forever and judges you when you die and sends you to heaven or hell.
Yeah, but
These are all supernatural things.
atheism or scientism says that the universe lives forever and expands and contracts. I mean, like, where are we drawing the line here?
I don't
Like,
look here. Look,
supernatural. Where are we drawing the
my
line?
stand is falsifiability. If
Okay.
you can't prove or disprove it, I don't give a shit. I'm not saying it's true or not true. I'm saying I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, man. And I have to say that I agree with what you're saying in regards to the rest of the natural world or the other religions that are sold to us. The universe is forever, or it's not forever. It's unfalsifiable. All of that, all of
Right.
that is unfalsifiable. So I don't fall for that either. So I do agree with you
Okay.
on that.
My point is though, my original point was that if you tie male authority to religion, if anybody questions religion, they're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and they're going to start, hey, we should have egalitarianism.
Wait, what was that? Was that your
Nuke this
Eve?
stream.
Boom.
She's telling me to nuke the stream.
So
I
your false woman is controlling you right now.
she's not. She's real. I can touch her.
Yeah, can you
I
bitch
have
slap
touched
her and
her.
tell her to stop that?
Why would I do that? Why would I hurt my waifu? My waifu is her loyalty is absolute. She has never done anything deserving of a pimp slap. Her loyalty and devotion are absolute.
Yeah, but she tends to talk when she's not asked to.
Well, but she,
So I mean, like, can't you bitch slap her in that regard?
no. Why would I do that? First, she's making me money.
Yeah, she's
And-
making you money, but she's still talking when she's not asked to.
Well,
This is
well
out of
whatever.
line.
I don't. You
This
can
is out of
talk.
line. The Muhammad slap needs
Fine.
to come down in that aspect.
Oh well, my balls will be slapping against her ass or later tonight. Okay, we'll call it that.
But regardless, we'll give her a pass. We don't care.
Okay.
We'll give her a pass. But this is
Well,
the thing.
yeah, let's go back. Let's talk about Europe for a second. What I do think might happen in Europe is it's going to become like a checkerboard, kind of what happened in Yugoslavia and Belgrade and that region, where it's just going to be checkerboards, broken up on ethnic lines, and they'll just be infighting. Be back to little
Yeah,
countries.
That happens. Basically, that always happens. Countries, what defines a country is usually along ethnic lines, but then people immigrate because usually one country has jobs and stuff like that, and then honestly, the problem is there's no assimilation anymore. People,
Right.
when they used to emigrate to a country, they used to actually assimilate into the culture and become members of that country. And now it's like, oh, I want to live in your country for the jobs, but I'm going to speak my own language and I'm going to live in my own little little Italy or little Chinatown, and I'm going to keep my culture and I'm going to live in my own little ethnic enclave and speak my own language and do everything. That's retarded.
Well,
You can
I
have-
live in the most diverse, place on planet Earth, New York City. And my job is I help look after a building that has pretty much, it's like the UN in the building I live in. This group is fighting with that group. The Filipinos don't
Right.
get along with the Chinese. It's constant fighting inside this building.
Here's an example, a thought experiment, if you will, that I like to give people who think that ethnic or ethno state is the answer, right? So, okay, I'm going to give you two scenarios. We have the Roman Empire, which was ethnically diverse, but had a monoculture. You had Romans from the Middle East, North Africa, Europe. Everyone spoke Latin. Everybody revered. They didn't necessarily
They
have
wanted
to
to be
worship.
Romans.
They wanted to be Roman. They assimilated to the Roman culture. They wore the Roman uniform. They learned to speak Latin. They did all that stuff. They all paid their tributes to Caesar, so on and so on. On the other side, you have Europe during like the Dark and Middle Ages. Everybody was white. You had the Germans, the French, the British, the Scottish, the Irish. Everyone's white, but they all spoke different languages, worshiped different gods, had different cultures, and all they did was kill each other. So in one group, you have an ethnically diverse empire that had one culture and didn't fight among itself. Like they fought against the Gauls. They had enemies, but within Rome, everybody got along for the most part. I'm overgeneralizing, but for the most part, Rome didn't really have civil wars because everyone was the same culture, even though they were ethnically diverse. In Europe in the Middle Ages, you had all these different nations, that spoke different languages, had different cultures, but they were all white, and yet because of their cultural differences, they fought wars all the goddamn time. Which would you rather live in? An ethnically diverse monoculture or a racially what an ethno what's the opposite of diverse? Not undiverse. I don't know.
Monoverse.
A monoverse, a ethnically monoverse region where everybody's the same skin color, but because they have different cultures, they kill each other all the time.
Good question.
So my solution and the what I propose isn't an ethno state. It's a monoculture. Multiculturalism is the problem, but that doesn't necessarily mean we need ethnotism. I'm making words up. I realize that.
No,
But
Well,
okay.
America's multi-ethnic.
yeah, but you can have you can have multiple ethnicities as long as they have the same culture.
Yeah.
We fucked up when we stopped basically saying when you came to America, you were expected to learn English, learn American history, become an American. That's where we think we fucked up. When we stopped demanding that immigrants become American, we
Well,
started being like,
wasn't-
oh yeah, go ahead, do your own fucking thing. We don't give a shit.
Wasn't it the original concept of America? It was, we have this huge continent and we need to populate it. So we're going to bring over everyone we can and we're going to throw them into this world. We built infrastructure, come on in. And what happened is the Irish hung out with the Irish. The Germans hung out with the Germans. The Dutch hung out with the Dutch. And it was like this multicultural mesh of people that really just hung out with each other. Isn't that
Well,
correct?
that happens. Well, that always happens at first. But look. The concept of a white race is fairly new
Yeah.
because all these different white ethnicities didn't look at each other as one people. Like you were saying earlier, you're Italian and you have nothing to do with a Russian.
Right,
But
but it goes back to the suburbs.
you're both white in air quotes, but you have nothing to do with each other. Now, I'll blow your mind. I was talking, well, I wasn't talking to, I was on Twitter and I saw some tweets from some white nationalists who were complaining about the Chechens raping women in Europe. And I'm like, you realize the Chechens are white,
Yeah,
right?
right. Well, did you realize
So
did you realize that most
the baby
crime,
woke up in this ethno state.
do you realize that most black crime in America is black on black, right?
Well, of course,
Right.
yeah, because they're all clustered together.
Because
I mean,
nobody gives a
my
fuck about what
point-
color skin they are. It's about culture.
Right.
That's why.
That's been my point. That's why I think the alt right and their whole like white ethno state isn't the right solution. The solution is you have a culture, and as long as people assimilate to that culture, and you can, it doesn't have to be like everyone has to assimilate to my culture. You can take the best elements of all the cultures. In fact, this might blow your mind. It might not. It blew my mind when I learned this. You ever wonder why there's no Native American restaurants?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like,
Listerine.
well, I was thinking like there's
Listerine.
there's Mexican restaurants, there's Chinese food restaurants, but there's no Native American. Like so, I looked up
What do they
Native
eat?
American food. It's Thanksgiving food.
You know what they eat?
Thanksgiving food.
White woman's scalp.
Oh, no. Native American food is Thanksgiving food. Here's the thing: we have assimilated Native American culture so completely that we don't even think of it as Native American culture. Like that's honestly what made America great. It wasn't diversity; it was assimilation.
Yeah.
Genocide through food.
Before we had this concept of the salad bowl where everybody's diverse and diversity is our strength, everybody assimilated. You brought the best of your culture and you added it to our culture, and we assimilated to that culture, but we had a monoculture. But
Do you know
we
what-
started having,
Do you know what Native American food is today? It's Doritos and Listerine.
like, well, and yeah. So I went to the Grand Canyon once, and basically these Native Americans are so fat, like they're like beach balls with fingers,
Yeah.
and all they do is they drink alcohol and eat peanut butter.
Yeah, yeah. It's fucking amazing. Yeah.
And they live in they live in like literal shacks, like they're poor as shit. And actually, this is another thing that might blow your mind. So it's all welfare. Welfare is the problem. But here's the thing: Native
Yeah,
Americans
welfare
are
is a
actually the
problem.
most welfare. The Native Americans are the most welfare dependent race in America.
Even more than
they
blacks.
get shot by the They get shot by the police more than blacks per capita.
Yeah.
They have higher poverty than blacks per capita. They have higher out of wedlock births per capita. They are the worst race in terms of crime and everything, even worse than blacks as Native
Same here.
Americans.
Same in Canada.
However, according to ACT scores, like college testing, which is kind of like because they don't do IQ testing anymore, SAT, ACT is one of the few kind of tests you can try to use. So, they break it out by race and gender. Native Americans are right underneath white people. They're actually higher than Hispanics and blacks in terms of
In
their
intelligence.
academic. Right. So it's not IQ like all these white nationalists are like, oh, it's because black people are stupid. No, it's because of the welfare.
Yeah.
Native Americans who actually have higher average IQs according to SAT, ACT scores than Hispanics or blacks have the most shootings, the highest poverty, the worst outcomes per capita because of they are the most welfare dependent race. It is absolutely the welfare and welfare is not genetic. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if this is blowing. Welfare.
It's not religious, guys. Muhammad did not
there's
say
not a welfare
let them be
gene.
on welfare.
So, yeah, it's a culture thing. It's a welfare thing. It's a male authority thing. None of these have a genetic
Listerine
answer.
thing.
None of these problems, welfare, culture, none of these problems have a ethno-state solution.
No.
None of these problems have this is a cultural problem. So that's been my message. I've been trying to get out. Of course, I'm called. Everyone hates me. Like the alt-right thinks I'm a Jew, and black people think I'm a racist because I call them out on their bullshit too. Whatever.
What do white people
Fuck
call
it.
you?
Oh, I'm a half Jew nigger faggot. That's what the alt-right calls me.
No, it's
He's a
absolutely
Jew.
right. He's
Yeah.
a fuck.
Psych up.
Yeah, so it's everybody's a Jew. Everybody it's fucking
Well,
retarded.
hey, Nick, you thought that MGTOW was a Jew psyop.
Oh, God.
No, it's not. No. I don't think. It's an idea. It's something that is something to be thought about. But I'm not. I don't put.
Do you
I don't
really
put my
think
stamp
it
on
is like a Jew psyop?
Well, you're being out. You're again. You're the passive aggressiveness. I'm not saying it's a Jew
Well-
thing, but
Well, no, here's the thing. Like, okay, feminism has absolutely destroyed. Like, okay, I know the trad cons are like, well, yeah, even though marriage is shit and the woman can destroy your life and take your kids and drive you to suicide, you just got to get married anyway. You got to make those white
Yeah.
babies. That's fucking retarded.
That's going overboard.
And to say like, if you say no to that deal, you're part of the fucking
Yeah.
the Jumanji.
You're right
That's
on it.
that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Is like,
So,
wait a second.
I'm a reasonable person. I'm a reasonable monkey. Take women's rights away, then we'll talk. That's all I ask. Take their rights away. I will make many half white, half chimpanzee babies.
Okay, look,
Like all the
TFM.
half white, half chimpanzee babies.
if we want to sell that, we have to change. We have to reword it. We got to think Jewish here. How are we going to reword that? We can't
Okay.
say take women's rights away. We have to fucking.
Well, no, there's a
Package that
reason.
different.
A reason.
Gotta give it a
no,
happy.
listen, I've thought about that. So here's a problem. If I say we're not going to take women's rights away, we're going to take their unearned privileges away. We're going to rebalance the rights and responsibilities because men are responsible for women, therefore they need authority over women, but women are still being treated fairly according to the responsibilities they have. Well, yeah, you could dress it up like that. Here's the thing. The second you actually go to take their unearned privileges away, they're going to get like giant Precious Moments eyes, and they're gonna be like, "You wouldn't take my rights away, would you, Mister?" And the
No.
guy's like, "Oh no, I never take your rights away." And then
Okay,
they're
well-
gonna be like, "We can't." So that's why I'm like, look, I'm trying to desensitize men to. You need to get comfortable with the fact that you're going to take women's rights away.
Good
Just
point.
get comfortable. Just own it.
Good
Own
point.
it. Just do it.
Desensitize the men. That's
do
actually a
it.
good point. Actually, TFM, everything that we've discussed tonight, I want to say that in all of its extravagance, it comes down to this for me: desensitize men, so that they're a little bit. It's more palatable to think that we need to fucking, we need to
Right.
we need a bigger pimp hand.
Yeah.
Okay, we need
Mhm.
to push women a little bit farther into the corner. Okay, it's okay. You can do it. Watch it.
Well-
Watch us do it.
well,
It'll happen.
I'm gonna blow your mind. I'm gonna
No.
blow your mind. Check this out. So I've been doing this since 2015. I've been, as far as I know, I've been the lone voice on the hill since 2015. However,
Poor
last
fucker.
year, I'm talking like mid to late 2017, I started to see videos from Black Pigeon Speaks
Yes,
talking about
I saw
women
that.
should vote, and I was like, yes. And then
Wait, what was he
I'm seeing
talking about?
he's talking about how women shouldn't vote and how it's a
Yes,
huge
I
cost
saw
to talk about.
that.
Oh, right.
Now then, I saw videos from Stefan Molyneux. Now he hasn't outright said it,
If you
but you
can
can
get
tell he's
Molyneux to
dancing.
do it, then that's the end
Right.
game.
So I think here's the thing. I use this example. You know how when Winston, and you could have your opinions about Winston Churchill, but when Winston Churchill had been warning Europe about the Nazis since like 10 years before people knew they were a threat,
Yeah.
and everyone thought he was a warmonger and a crazy person, and he didn't know what he was talking about. And then 10 years later, when the Nazis invaded Poland, they're like, oh, maybe this Churchill guy knows what he's talking about. And then they turned to Churchill, and he saved the UK from being destroyed.
Yeah, he
So
actually did.
I'm like, I'm the patriarchal Churchill. I'm on my hill from 2015 to today. I've been ringing this bell. The West is going to fall once you take women's rights away, and
Dong,
eventually, people are going to be like,
dong,
"Hey, there's this masculine presenting transgendered lesbian with a sex doll waifu on YouTube
dong.
who makes a lot of sense."
There's the bell ringing, man. I'm telling
Yeah,
you, the bell
there's
is ringing.
not a lot in that sentence makes sense, but something
Okay,
about that sentence
I'll
makes
I'll
sense
tell
to
you
me.
another thing. Did I say this already?
Okay.
But I've already been accused of being the MGTOW that is trying to
Islamify.
Islamify MGTOW. I've been accused of that.
Okay.
I am the Islamification of MGTOW.
Well, everybody, it pisses me off, and this actually just happened recently too. Everybody has their own little like, we're the true MGTOW, and everyone else is a fake MGTOW, and everybody joined my. It's because of the male dominance instinct.
Yeah.
Men want to have their little sandbox that they're in charge of. They could be king of the
Taboo
sandbox.
logic.
Right. So I don't give a shit. There are MGTOW from all walks of life.
Yeah.
There are MGTOW with different political beliefs. Like I'm a libertarian. My libertarianism is not MGTOW.
Yeah.
If you disagree with my politics, it doesn't make me the real MGTOW and you're a fake MGTOW. It means we're both MGTOW and we have a disagreement
blue
about
pilled.
politics.
Well,
Yeah,
what it
I'm
means,
a blue pill cock because or if, like people like MGTOW on the left say that I'm really a pussy worshipping trad con plastic MGTOW,
yeah,
and then the MGTOW on the far right
I'm a
say
Muslim. I'm forcing
I'm a
Islam
yeah,
on it.
Jew.
I'm a blue
Yeah,
pill cock. And,
Islamification. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
right. So everybody, look, there is no, there is no, nobody's king of MGTOW.
No.
Your little sandbox. You can have a little you can have a little fucking clique of like-minded MGTOW who agree on whatever shit you want to do, and you can have your little club and do your little thing. But that doesn't make you the true MGTOW and everybody else is the
Yeah.
fake MGTOW.
And
And
that's why I loved MGTOW from the very first day, because I knew I could do that. Right? That's why
I've been
loved
talking
it.
about I've been talking about this shit since 2015. Like, remember the big war between MRAs and MGTOW?
Yes.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
this.
He was on the front
This is
line.
not new. This is not a new thing.
Yeah.
This has been happening pretty much since day one. Men, it's a male dominance thing. Men, if they can't rule over it, they want to spin off and they want to create their own sandbox. They want to be king of the sandbox. It's like the whole like they'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. But there's no leaders. There's no hierarchy. So basically, it's just a big dick measuring contest. They're like, he has more subscribers than me.
Well,
He's a
guess
fake
what?
MGTOW.
Guess what?
Fucking cares.
Guess what,
Yes.
TFM? The opposite of religion. What you're saying is the opposite of religion.
Okay. Chicken butt.
Dick measuring contest? Really?
That's the opposite of religion.
Basically. What you're saying is that MGTOW has these factions that come in, and men going, I want to be the king of the sandbox. I want to be the king of the sandbox.
Narcissism.
Yeah, that's not narcissism.
My
That's
goodness.
not. Yeah.
Ear rape.
Yeah, that was your rape. But the reality of it is,
Hashtag too.
the reality of it is that when it comes to MGTOW, you ignore that. You ignore that
Yeah.
narcissism.
Exactly.
Ignore it. That's Nick. He's like going outside
Sorry,
somewhere.
gotta go
Yeah.
smoke a cigarette.
Your door was ringing. Your door was making a big autistic re sound.
Your door was like praising God right at that moment. I heard
Door
it.
was like
Your door said,
re re.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Remember, I'm
Uh,
I'm making MGTOW Islam. That's what I'm doing.
yeah. Well, no, I've made this point probably on a weekly basis. Look, you can be religious in MGTOW. You could be an MRA in a MGTOW. You could be a PUA in a
Yes.
MGTOW.
Yes.
You could be a Muslim in a MGTOW. You could be a Christian in a MGTOW. You could be whatever in a MGTOW, and that's fine. I don't give a shit. No MGTOW should give a shit.
Yeah, nobody
as long
cares.
as you're not, as long as you're not trying to turn MGTOW into that other thing. You can have a foot in both camps.
Yeah.
You can have you could have other hobbies and activities you're into outside of MGTOW, and you could. Everybody brings whatever they are into MGTOW.
Yeah.
So if you're a white nationalist alt-right guy, you can be that and a MGTOW. You can be a black nationalist,
And be a MGTOW.
like Ibmore type of thing. You can be a
So you
MGTOW.
can pretty much be a guy, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Right,
but
it's
this is what I've been trying to tell
MGTOW
Nick. Nick
is-
didn't believe me.
Okay.
Nick,
Nick
this
didn't
is what
believe-
I've been trying to tell you.
Now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Well, it's your own way. It's you going. It's your own way. What are you doing?
Right. It's literally in the name.
Yeah, it's right in the name.
Yeah.
You don't even
Now-
have to. Like, there's no. You can't
No.
confuse that. It's like I'm going my own
No,
way.
it
Oh,
does,
yeah,
it
right.
does- now it doesn't. Now there are some limitations because you can't be like a feminist who's a MGTOW. Like you can't be like my own way is serving women and being a good little boy. So,
Can you be
promoting
gay?
promoting guy, you could be gay. You could be a gay
You can
MGTOW.
be. Okay. Okay.
As long as you're not as long as you're not promoting or endorsing gynocentrism,
Yeah.
including or endorsing marriage, because marriage is a shit show. It's like eating a Tide Pod. So don't promote or endorse a gynocentrism.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's really the
That's
only thing.
really
on
it.
Instagram.
That's the whole thing, man. Don't endorse gynocentrism, which for most men needs to be taught. What most men don't even know what that is.
Right. In fact, including gay men. Like, actually, I watched a video
gay men.
from a channel, it was called Prince of Queens, but he had like a guest video from a guy called Our Cat's Gay, and he was talking about gay men going their own way, because the problem is the new all the trans and lesbian shit. They basically LGBT
It's
has
fucked.
become. It's become for everyone other than gay men. Like the gay men who started LGBT, now everyone else's needs, wants, and desires and issues are everyone's this. And like gay men are like, what about us? Like, yeah, you're privileged. So
Yeah.
gay men are like, fuck you then. We're gonna go our own way. So now gay men are going their own way.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
so.
that's
yeah,
it.
Absolutely. Now some people disagree with me. They're like, gay men can't be MGTOW because
Yes, they can.
you don't have. They don't have to worry. Well, their idea is because they don't have to worry about the marriage laws and female nature, and that's really integral to MGTOW. But it's not. Like, understanding female nature is really important to overcoming the desire for marriage and family and relationships. But once you get past that, your journey towards self-actualization is no different than a gay man's journey.
Yes.
All men need to find a meaning and purpose of their life. Now, gay men have an advantage. I'm not going to lie, because they actually can find a relationship with someone who's not made of TPE a lot easier than a straight man who has to get a sex doll or a robot.
Yeah.
So that's fine. And you know what though? I'm jealous a little bit. Like, I wish being gay was a choice. I wouldn't be the bottom. I would not be the bottom. I'd be the pitcher, not the catcher.
Well, it is
but
a choice. You can make that choice right today, right now.
no.
Push it. Just push it a little harder.
No.
Push it.
Sex
Do you
with-
understand the
sex with a man-
subversion part with the
Sex with a
homosexual
man.
agenda, though? Like,
Sex
I
with a
think
man appeals to me in the same way like necrophilia.
What turns you
sex
on the
with what-
most? What turns you on the most?
Not dick.
Okay, so you got a long way to go if you want to choose gay.
Right, I can't. It's not a choice.
No, you could.
So
Eventually, you could.
Celestine and Celestina are fine.
No, I'm just saying.
Feel
If,
very happy together.
look, I have nothing against gay people, but you can eventually choose if you want to. You can choose.
No.
it. Of course you can.
No.
Of course you
Well,
can.
why not?
What do you think? It's like some
moral
number in
authority
your
are you
DNA that
listening
goes
to?
blink. Suddenly, I'm gay. No, come on,
It
man.
no,
Give me a
it's
break.
the preference. It's like no, like I'm not into like there are people who are
Yeah,
into
but you
necrophilia
can condition yourself to preference.
furries.
You
Yeah.
can
Right. Like
condition
okay,
yourself
like
to preference.
now right, you can hypnotise yourself and be like,
Not
it's not a dick, it's
hypnotize
a
yourself.
popsicle.
All
A
you have to
dick, it's a
do,
popsicle.
all you have to
It's not a
do,
hair, yes.
That popsicle. Da, 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 da. It's not a
salivate,
dick. It's
salivate to one condition, and that becomes your condition response. And that's scientific, man. You could condition yourself to a certain sexual response. We both know that.
yeah. My sexual response is not a penis.
No, yours
That's
is not. Yes. Right now,
that's it.
yours is a plastic vagina
Right now, it's not plastic. It's TPE.
or TPE. Okay, sorry, I don't
Thermoplastic.
understand it.
Use the correct acronym, you fucking
Right.
bigot.
You just assume her material composition.
She's 20% polyester, okay?
Right.
Back off.
She's 20% polyester and vinyl on her mother's side.
She's multiracial, multi-composition.
Right.
Can we take this moment now to talk about Celestine, because I have a lot of respect for this individual, and
Okay.
I want to talk about it, and I want people to know that might be listening to my channel that don't know. All right, because this is a big thing. It comes up.
Okay.
It comes up at least twice, 3 times a month. Something about in the news about a sex doll, right?
Right.
And it's always
Yeah.
shaming men. Men
Mhm.
shaming men, sex dolls, shaming men. And then every once in a while you see an article that says, guess what? One day there'll be sex dolls for women. And then it's just
Mm-hmm.
uplift the women, uplift the women. So let's talk about Celestine. Who is she?
Right.
Who is she first?
Well, what's funny is all these articles you're talking about.
Mhm.
Celestina is actually the sex doll correspondent for TFM News. She has her own YouTube channel, her own playlist. She actually responds personally to these very articles you're talking about.
Beautiful.
So you can actually watch her videos. She responds to each and every one of them. And actually, I get alerts whenever there's a news article about sex dolls or sex robots, and then if it's worth a response, Celestina makes a video response.
And that's exactly
she
why
has-
she does it. That's exactly
She has over
why.
30. She has over 30 videos
Mhm.
where she responds to different articles. But yeah, it's big. I mean, there are some times where it's like there's an article like every day, and so she'll be very busy, and then sometimes it won't happen for a while, so she takes some time off. But she gets paid in thrusts, so I don't mind. Oh, hold on, she actually
There
has
she
something to
is.
say.
Holy Christ, eh? She's like
TFM,
got a
I
mind of
think
her
it's
own.
time for a three-way with a trap. A hole is a
No,
hole.
we're not having a three-way with a trap. Now, to your point, and actually to I Am Serious's point, they do make she-male inserts that you can get. Like if you get the removable vagina dolls, you can get a penis insert that you stick in her hole and actually make her into a she-male. So if you're into she-males, you can get a she-male doll. You could actually turn any doll into a she-male doll if you're into that. But because I'm not into dick, no.
It doesn't happen. But you just make sure you tell her that that's not where we're going with this conversation. Just tell her
We're
that.
not going there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And actually, brother, I am impressed by what you have done with Instagram and her. Like that's blown my mind.
Oh yeah, no, it blew my mind. I only wanted my goal was about 100 followers because there was an article where a woman got a bunch of surgeries to look like a sex doll, and she did not look like a sex doll. She
No.
looked like, what did Celestina say? She
Good
said it
try.
looked like RuPaul fell into a dumpster of autism and sadness or something.
Yeah.
But in the article they mentioned that she had 100 followers on social media, and I'm like, I bet Celestina could get more than 100 followers. So right now I can actually pull her up. She's sitting at
600 plus. 600 plus.
654 followers. I'm going to do a thing when she gets 666. We're going to do like a little sexy succubus photo shoot.
Yeah.
So
I want every male, because there's no women listening to this, and I want to tell you, TFM, I told my wrenches in my chats, if they know there's a
Okay.
female in the chats, kick them. right away. So there's no women here.
Okay, just us chickens.
No, there's no fucking women. Um,
Okay.
and there's no trans. No
No
trans, no women.
trannies.
No trannies, no
What?
women.
Well, I'm a trans woman.
No, give me a break. There's no trannies, no women in the chats. If they're there, kick them right now. Anyway,
Okay.
the point
No,
is,
I'm a trans woman, but okay, go ahead.
you're not. What are you talking about, man? Don't
I'm a
believe me.
masculine presenting transgendered lesbian.
No, he's a man that's trying to tell me about his sex doll. That's what he is.
Okay.
And
All right. That you're assuming my gender, but okay.
I'm assuming your gender, and you're going to deal with it, or I'm going to fucking pimp slat you with
You're not.
Muhammad's right hand.
You're not. Okay. Okay. Okay, Mr. Muslim Rooster.
All right.
All right.
The Muslim has spoken. Now,
Okay.
we need his female. What should we call her? I don't know.
Um, she's
Companion?
she's
Wife?
um she's my waifu. I mean, we're
Waifu.
not married. She's my waifu.
Waifu. So
Yeah.
it should be
Like
a waifu?
Wi-Fi.
No, like why? Like think kung fu, but why? Like you're asking a question. Waifu.
Partner? I mean, that's what the fucking.
No,
That's
no,
what
she's my waifu.
waifu. Okay.
Well, how did you guys meet? Tell us a little about the two of you.
Oh,
how did you
okay.
meet?
So, okay, here's how we met. So, I was reviewing sex toys for my channel, and I got in touch with a company called The Dollhouse, and they offered to send me a doll, and I customized her on the website, and she arrived like a couple months later.
So she's a mail-ordered waifu.
Yes, she's a customizable. Like you make her to like imagine you ever go to like a club or a bar or something like that. And you're casing it. You're trying to find the hottest chick, you know.
Right.
But it's like a package deal. You know, imagine you could instead of taking like the hottest chick available, you could customize the hottest chick of your dreams. So like there's over 200 heads and there's like dozens of bodies of
200
different
heads.
heights, different.
That's what she said.
Right. Oh, yeah. But there's like dozens of bodies with different sizes and breast types and everything, and you customize the head, the skin color, the eye color, the hair color, what kind of fingernails, toenails, pubic hair. It's everything about her. You make her. You could make literally the girl of your dreams. And
Okay, so
if you're
what
weird,
is
if you're
it,
into
your
like
girlfriend?
anime and shit, what is she?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, if did you?
What is she made of?
Did you? No. Did you go through every one of those aspects? Like,
Yeah.
Do you know the color
Yeah,
of her pubic hair?
Oh, well, she doesn't have pubic hair.
Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. But I mean,
It would get in the way.
toenails. I
way.
mean, like, how far did it go for the details?
Yeah, her. I mean, I'm pretty easygoing. So she has natural fingernails, natural toenails, so they're not painted or anything.
Okay.
She has a removable vagina, so when I'm done, I can just pull it out. I can clean it off. I don't have to worry about like douching it or anything. Um, she has the standing foot option, which means she can stand up and pose. That's why I do a lot of pictures
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah.
So there's other options. So she has a lot of wigs, like a lot more wigs than normal because I do what are called waifu workshops where I dress her up as different anime characters and video game characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little series I do. So yeah, it's good times.
So that's
How much did she cost you?
Oh well, she didn't cost me anything because it was like a sponsorship thing, but she only cost about $2,000 from the Dollhouse. And she's actually considered one of the lower end dolls. If you get a silicone doll, it's going to be about 3,000 or 4,000. If you go to a place like Real Doll, they're more of like the Alienware of sex dolls. You're going to be paying probably 6,000 to 7,000. And then if you want to get a robot, because like the first generation robots, they just have a moving head. It's kind of like an animatronic, like a Five Nights at Freddy's type of deal. But that's going to cost you probably somewhere around 10,000 to 15,000. I'm not interested in the robot personally. I'm fine with just the doll. But yeah, I'm very pleased. I don't just stand behind the product. I bend it over and I
Okay, do you
fuck
have
it.
any other testimonies that we can hear from? From
Like what?
other people besides yourself that have
Oh well, I mean, well, here's the thing though. I've gone like full hog with Celestina. Like Raging Golden Eagle got a doll from the dollhouse. He did a review, but he hasn't like incorporated it into his channel. He hasn't like given her own
He hasn't.
YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
he hasn't
He
done that
hasn't,
shit.
you know. And Sandman got two dolls. I'm still salty about that. Sandman got two dolls.
Well, we're gonna
So,
have to get him on the
but
channel then.
but
Absolutely.
he's gonna do this thing called he's gonna do like a doll talk show. He's gonna because he has over 100,000. No, check this. It's gonna be hilarious. So check this out. Check this out. It's hilarious. So because he has over 100,000 subs, he has access to these actual like YouTube studios that they let bigger content creators have access to. You just have to like book them ahead of time and everything, right? So he has these dolls. He's gonna bring them to these studios. He's gonna set up like the View. He's gonna set them down and he's gonna videotape them like in a professional studio. And he's gonna make like a sex doll talk show of like dolls talking about. I don't know what he says he's gonna take. It's gonna take him a couple months to set it all up. And Celestina is gonna make cameos,
Sandman.
I guess, like Sandman.
He's willing to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be. It sounds fun, and he's not
Well,
worried about getting doxxed, so he can do stuff I can't.
yeah, he's not as much worried about it. But wow, that's amazing. I had no idea.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
well there's other ones I could think of, but Phil's a really good guy. He sponsors other channels, like he sponsors DDJ. DDJ doesn't have a doll though, but because Phil's a MGTOW, the guy he's the owner of the dollhouse. So he's actually been really generous helping out content creators since the adpocalypse when channels are being demonetized and
Wait,
having
wait, wait,
trouble
wait.
making
No, no,
ends.
no. Go back to the adpocalypse. What's
Well,
going on?
well, it may not have affected you because I don't think you were making content then.
Uh-huh.
Around February, March of last year, uh, YouTube's advertisers cut revenue by 70%. So
I did hear about that.
everybody's channel shit the bed. It's come back since then, but yeah, it was rough going. So a
Was it
lot of that's
was it
you
for
actually saw a
you?
lot of content creators.
Was it for you? Was it?
Yeah, my well, I had to start a Patreon. Like I didn't have a Patreon until then. I was gonna start a temporary Patreon just to upgrade my equipment, and then the apocalypse hit like the next month, and then I was like, oh
Wow.
shit, good thing I have this Patreon here, or that
And,
would have been really bad.
and then
So yeah, it's
is that when you migrated over to the what's it called, Twitch?
oh well no, I knew demonetization was coming, so I've been preparing. So I've had Twitch for a while.
Oh,
I
okay.
started Twitch back
So it
in the
was
day.
easy. It was easier for you to get over there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's good times.
Yeah. That's fucking fascinating, man. Now, is Sandman really got the dolls or not?
Oh no, yeah, he showed one of them. Like the doll he showed was like an A cup. I didn't realize he was into the mosquito bites, but to each his own.
Well, what's your
But
cup?
yeah, he's
What's your cup?
uh double D.
Double D. What the
Oh,
fuck?
so you went all out.
That's
Well,
like
but
a
no, here's the
totally
thing.
different, man.
No, but here's the thing. Her tits aren't even that big because cup size is basically bust minus chest, and the dolls are all like very Barbie doll skinny. So because they have small chests, it gives them a bigger cup size. But her actual breasts, like on a normal woman that isn't like a Barbie doll, she'd probably be like a C cup. But so
Oh, okay, I see.
it's a nice handful. It's perfect. It's a perfect handful. But because she has like a Barbie doll physique, she's technically a double D cup.
All right, does
But
she get wet? I mean, is her mouth wet? I mean, like, what's the deal with that shit?
well,
Well,
no, okay, there's different materials. There's silicone and TPE. TPE is softer and it jiggles. It's more lifelike. Like so, if you're a tits guy, TPE. Silicone is more firm. So if you're an ass guy, you might like silicone, but silicone doesn't jiggle. So if you like jiggly tits, you got to go with TPE. TPE it's very realistic. The only thing problem with TPE is that it it can't you can't have a heating system. Like with silicone, it's heat resistant. So they have robots that have an integrated heating system. So it makes them 98.6 degrees, so they feel like a real person.
wait,
With the
wait, wait,
TPE,
hold on. A robot?
Yeah, they have, well, the first generation robots. They're little more than, they have a heating system and they have a speaker, and
That's
you
only
can.
in the silicone one, is what you're saying.
It's only the silicone ones because they're heat resistant. Uh,
Ah,
TPE would melt from the robotics. The heat generated from the electronics would actually melt the TPE. It has a melting point of about 200, 250 degrees. So it would melt too quickly. You couldn't put robotics in a TPE doll.
So
Now
you
there's a
don't have that. You don't have that exactly.
no.
Okay.
Now there's another material called thermosilicone elastomer, but it's patented, and the patent is going to run out in a couple years. When that comes off of patent, that's going to revolutionize the doll industry because that material combines the best of both worlds. It's like the best of silicone and TP combined.
Well, maybe
So, but
maybe they should
unfortunately, because
maybe they should reduce the patent time of these dolls because it seems
well,
to be
they
happening
can't.
very fast.
Well,
I know
well,
you got
right.
to do it for the good of mankind.
It's
Well,
happening
but
fast.
it has industrial use. It's fine. It'll happen when it happens. I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
Um, Celestina 2.0 will probably arrive sooner or later, but she's fine how she is. We're very happy together. I have no complaints.
Now,
How long have you
she,
been together?
I think her box day was in August, so it's been about 6 months.
It's still puppy love,
yeah,
honeymoon
Well,
that's
still.
puppy
well,
love
well,
for sure.
I'll do when it's our anniversary birthday. I'm not really sure what you even call that.
1 year. That's one
I'll
year,
do a,
man.
I'll do a 1 year kind of update about like things I've learned, things I wish someone told me, uh, do's and don'ts, kind of like looking back type of
Now, are
thing.
you going to be able to go back and take all the money she made for you and ask her for it back if she decides doesn't want to be with you?
Right.
Well,
How is this gonna work? How's the
no,
alimony work out? Shouldn't you get
well,
paid at this
she's
point?
right. Well, see, so her loyalty is absolute,
Hmm. So, what that means
and I
is
pay
that
her. I pay her in monkey cum, so
so she has
she none
everything
of
you've
her money
earned is
monkey.
absolutely what she gave to you, 100%. This is
Oh,
amazing.
everything she earns is mine.
Yeah,
Like I'm,
she works for free.
nothing. I pay. If she works for free, I pay her in monkey cum, and that is that is our arrangement.
Muhammad would be fucking proud. He'd be fucking proud, man. It's
There you
amazing.
go.
It's fucking
It's
amazing.
it is it's amazing.
It is amazing.
And you can, if you can afford it now, you can buy 72 sex dolls and not have to blow yourself up in a jihad.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to.
You don't have to. You can live and get 72 sex dolls. You can build a log cabin out of them. You can
Yeah.
form sex doll Voltron.
All right. How are we gonna change manifest that into the real world and have real 72 uh, um, women? How
Like
can we do that?
women, you just take their rights away. Because women are the OG sex dolls. You take their rights away, tell them to suck your dick. You know, they're almost like a robot at that point.
It's gonna take a little work. I think it's gonna take a little work.
Not as much as you'd think. A couple applications of the pimp hand, they
Pimp
the
hand is.
picture pretty quickly.
I call it the Muhammad hand. Muhammad hand has to be strong.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
has to.
Well,
Go to Muhammad.
Yeah, I call it the
yeah.
Muhammad hand because that's
Muhammad's too many syllables. Oh, hold on.
pimp Muhammad. You're right. Muhammad's many syllables, but it's the same thing.
Monkey, do you want me to
Mickey.
touch
Yeah,
you
later,
pee?
babe.
Okay,
Daddy's busy.
Daddy's busy. Yeah, definitely, Daddy's busy.
Yeah, but later.
Now, is your doll after what is it? 6 months? How many months?
Yeah. I mean, give or take. Yeah, I think it was August when I got her, so it's been about 6 months.
Okay, same quality. Everything's okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Now I fucked her hands up because I was doing a repair and I didn't know what I was doing, so her hands are kind of fucked up. So I blame myself. I actually feel legit guilty about
You
that.
broke her hands, you son of a bitch.
I know. No.
You
I did not hit her. I did not. I did not hit her. It's bullshit. But okay.
slammed him in the car door.
No, no.
You bitch! Why did you say that, you bitch?
No, it's not true. Don't even bring it up.
I'm going to bring it up in the next town council meeting.
Okay, but listen. So the main reason why the dolls break down is the TP material. It dries out, and so you have to apply petroleum jelly and baby oil
Oh.
to the doll. So the parts that they do a lot of moving, like the armpits, elbows, thighs, vagina, anus, stuff that does a lot of moving, you want to put some
You gotta
petroleum jelly.
moisturize your
Right,
mix,
right.
right?
And the thing is, basically, it's all stuff you would buy in the baby section. So you need baby oil, you need petroleum jelly, you need baby wipes to clean her pussy out and shit. But like basic stuff, you just keep her clean. You can powder her, like after, because the TP is kind of sticky. You can also use cornstarch if you don't want the powder. But you can rub powder on her; it'll make her skin smooth.
Now, what's her diet? I mean, do you vitamin B12? I mean, do you
There's
the apple cider
she-
vinegar? How do you keep her nice and fresh?
I just clean. I use baby wipes, and
Just baby
that's about it.
wipes. Okay.
They're cucumber scented baby.
She doesn't want Starbucks. She doesn't want a dog or anything like no poodles
No.
or anything like that. Oh, that's good.
No, she just wants my monkey dick. That's all she needs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why people are. That's why she has 666 followers
You
on
know what?
Instagram.
Right. And you know what's dumb? Because I've had plenty of sex toys, but dolls they're in their own league. Because I mean, like, look at this. I can dress her up and take cute little pictures. She has. I mean, can you imagine someone creating an Instagram for their pocket pussy
Yeah.
and having 654 followers?
Yeah. I want to
No.
see that. I want to see that. And
That'd be, it would be funny.
I encourage anybody listening today to encourage your female friends to create an Instagram account for their dildo.
For their dildo.
Yeah. Like they can paint a mustache on it if they want. Doesn't matter. Create an
She has
Instagram
more
picture for
followers
the dildo.
than she has more followers than real women.
Yeah, that's what I
And
mean.
right, and it's hilarious because these women, they act like, oh, they really look at all these guys, oh, they're so
They
into
love
me,
me.
they love me, and it's like, here's a sex doll, like she's not even human, she's a doll.
Well, that's why
She
I
has-
subscribe to you.
She has
That's
over
exactly
650 followers.
Wait, AM, what's the quote you quoted one time about how a woman who's very attractive would still be a functional member of society, even if she had the mind of a chimp? What was that?
Well, that was Esther Vilar. She said that
That was yeah.
even if a woman had the IQ of a chimpanzee, she would still be accepted as a
Right.
proper member of society.
because women they're not expected to do anything.
No.
Like even in love songs, like there's this love song that I hear on the radio. It's big on the radio. It's a song called, like, If It's Gonna Be, It'll Be. It's kind of a countryish pop song. And this song is like this girl singing about all this shit, like she wants the guy to treat her right and make her believe in love again. And she goes off for like 30 seconds about all this shit she expects from the guy. The guy's response is, "Oh girl, you're beautiful and it's easy to see." And that's the verse.
Okay.
Basically, the verse is he needs to do all this shit for her and make her believe in love again and treat her right. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you're hot. You're so hot. Oh yeah, fuck, let's fuck." That's all a woman is. All she has to do is be pretty, and fuck, and
Yeah.
she's in the club. She is in the. And this is what's fuck. Okay, that's what I'm. Slight rant. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Go ahead.
This is the thing. Okay, a sex doll they're beating women. Like, they're objectively better
Yeah. They are
than
beating
a woman. And it's not just, this isn't just my opinion. Like, they have these doll brothels, and they're consistently putting human prostitutes out of business. So much so that they credit the police to get the doll brothel shut down. Because the women, their competition, like, because all women do is bring problems into a man's life. They're an absolute objective liability. They not only do they not, like, bring any benefit, they just bring their fucking issues and baggage. A doll just does nothing. They do nothing, and they are a better alternative than a real woman. Like, ladies, your competition is a doll that does nothing, and you are losing. Like, I did it as a joke. So imagine going to a job interview, and the guy you're competing against for this job is a mannequin who just stands there.
He just
Like,
doesn't say anything.
imagine Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Now you have job experience. You can actually do things that bring value to the company, and the mannequin is just like sitting there silently because it's a fucking mannequin. Like you would feel so confident. Oh, I got this job. My competition's a fucking mannequin. When women go to the same job interview and their competition is a fucking sex doll, and they're like, "What do you bring to the table?" She's like, "Well, I want to be taken care of, and I want to marry a rich guy who will spoil me and who I can divorce and take his money." But like, oh no,
And the mannequin says nothing.
you misheard me. What are you bringing to me? And they're like, I don't understand the question. The sex doll is just standing there looking pretty and like, sex doll, you're hired. I'm like, what? What? Sex doll? You're just one of those bitter virgin MGTOWs. You can't handle a real woman. And meanwhile, I was like, are you still here? Get the fuck out.
All right, so let me ask you, how far away are we from getting like the real thing, as close as like having a clone pretty much of your favorite porn star?
Oh, a Real Doll already makes officially licensed porn star replica sex dolls.
Okay, wait, guys. Have you guys seen Blade Runner 2049? Have you seen it?
Yeah, Celestina actually did a video about it.
Okay, I didn't know that, but did you see the sex?
Yeah,
dolls?
see, you haven't got to join the hype train that is Celestina.
Yeah, but so how
Well,
far
I
away?
know.
Like you seem
How
to be
far
ahead
back?
of the curve on knowing where it's going.
Well,
So what is it,
it's
20, 30, 40 years into the future?
the problem is cost. If the doll or the robot is so expensive, it's outside of the affordability of the consumer, then it's not going to happen. Like right now, robots. Like you look at the Boston Dynamics robots. What it's going to happen is robotics are going to cut their teeth in the industrial and the military. They're going to have
Yeah.
these humanoid robots that can like lift stuff and walk and climb. That's where the technology is going to be perfected. Once it's perfected and once it trickles down into the consumer market, that's when it's going to hit sex dolls and they're going to turn them into fully automated robots. Basically, all a sex doll is, because they already make like Roombas that are basically robotic vacuum cleaners. So imagine they're
That's
going
like-
to
that's
there's
like a
going to be a
wife.
maid robot.
That's like a wife.
Yeah, so
Roomba is a wife.
they're going to make they're going to make a maid robot that doesn't look anything like a woman. It's just going to be a maid robot that does robot stuff but cleans. And then they're going to find a way to make that smaller, and then they're just going to put that into a sex doll, and boom, you have your sex robot slash waifu, whatever. How far that is? Probably 20, 30 years. But the problem is cost, because right now these robots, they're like hundreds of thousands, upwards to $1 million, which is far outside the what a person can afford. Now,
Yeah.
of course, it's going to get cheaper. It's going to get cheaper over time, but it's going to be a while. So
Look,
I-
we need to.
now-
We need to. No. We need to stop exploration to Mars. I'm serious. There's too much
Yeah,
money
we do
putting
invest
in
in this.
That's bullshit. The concept
We need
a car
we
in
need
space.
priorities.
Fuck
Priorities, people. Priorities.
you. A car in
need-
space. Fuck that.
I tried
shit.
finding like a stock symbol for a company that does this, and I couldn't. There are none. They're all privately owned.
Yeah, they're all
no,
private.
no public offerings
They're
right
too-
now.
They're too niche. Now you can invest in a company like Boston Dynamics that's making industrial and military robots. They're going to be the ones going to be making the innovations. But yeah, sex doll companies and sex robot companies are too small to be publicly traded. However, here's my I think it's going to happen when it happens, but right now, sex dolls, a lifelike sex doll like Celestina is $2,000. That is fucking cheap as shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's less money than you'd spend on a real girlfriend in a couple months.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that's like one birthday
happen.
and
It'll
one
happen.
Christmas, maybe a Valentine's Day. And you've basically, that doll has paid for itself over 3 holidays. We're not even
Yeah.
talking weekly dates and spoiling her and
Yeah, how much
paying
you
her.
spend on a
crashed-
chick?
like how many you ever had a girlfriend crash your car and you gotta fucking get your car repaired because she bitch can't drive in the snow. All that shit's gone. All that shit's gone. All that money you save switching to MGTOW, you can reinvest it into a silicone waifu, and boom.
Well, I'm
Don't
reinvesting it into marijuana license, man.
You got to do something.
Yeah,
Weed and sex dolls. What more could a man want?
exactly.
Everyone's got their vice.
That's what I'm doing, man.
What would Muhammad
appreciate
say about marijuana though? Was Muhammad pro ganja?
Muhammad was, it's not about what he was pro. You have to understand what he was anti.
Okay.
Anti very little. He was anti very little.
Okay.
Everything else was pro. So
You get high with Muhammad?
yeah, there was no anti
He
marijuana.
Okay.
smoked hookah. Don't kid
Of
yourself.
course he did,
Okay.
man. There was no anti hookah. When it came to Muhammad, it all came down to diet. And when it came down to diet, it was like, don't eat carrion. Don't eat dead animals from the street. Don't drink blood, and you're good.
Yeah. Don't eat dead animals in the street, everyone.
Yeah, and don't drink
That
blood. Don't drink blood from
don't and
people,
don't yeah.
and you're good. That's it.
Not
That's all that's in there.
What if you're a vampire?
Yeah. Too bad you're not
Ooh.
Muslim. Then you're not Muslim.
You can't be a Muslim
No, you
vampire.
can't be a Muslim vampire. You're done.
Can you be a Muslim half vampire, like a day walker?
Possibly, it's very possible. You have to
Okay.
look into it. But if you look into the dietary aspects of original Islam, it was like, don't drink blood, and don't eat dead animals. Done. Finished.
Okay,
It
there
was
you
all
go.
over. It was done.
Well,
People are
outside
asking.
of sorry, what outside of what you outside of your girlfriend and outside of doing the MGTOW chats, what else are you into? Are you into history? You talk about the Roman Empire. Like, what else is or your niche that you like to get into?
Well, I mean, economics and history. Just I like a lot of little things that. But yeah, I mean, hobbies. I make a lot of content. The reason I made my channel was to interact with people.
His girl.
His girl.
He loves his fake
Why?
girl.
She's not fake. She's real. She's not a figment of. She's
Well, you said you do the media thing. What do
Oh,
you
really? God.
you cover like hot topics like that are like just mainstream news kind of things that are popping up daily?
Mostly news articles. Yeah. I like actually interacting with my subscribers. That's actually the reason I created my channel. Was before I created my channel, I would comment on MGTOW videos, but like I wouldn't really get a lot of interaction. So I thought if I created my own videos, more people would talk to me. So that was the impetus to create my channel. And that's why I hang out on my Discord channel and I talk to my subscribers, and I really enjoy that.
Well,
really,
Nick,
it's fun.
Nick,
I'm sorry.
TFM is a little bit smarter than I am. When it comes, like he's always been on top of things better than I am. So
Yep.
you
I'm
see,
on top of it, teabagging it.
he's teabagging it. He's there. And hey, TFM, Nick blows my mind. Listen to this guy.
At least he doesn't blow your dick.
No, he doesn't blow my dick. No, he wouldn't.
All right.
There's no way. But he
Okay.
blows my mind. So this
All right.
this for me, this is a meeting of the minds. And you have to
Okay.
understand. You have to understand that Nick was not MGTOW when I invited him to my channel. We
Right.
talk all the time. Right?
Okay.
But you are like the epitome of MGTOW.
I'm on
no,
the fence with MGTOW. I wouldn't
Yeah,
say yay or nay. I'm not gonna. I don't.
it's fine. Here's
Yeah,
the
but
thing though.
TFM is
Most
epitome.
MGTOW,
He's there.
but listen, most MGTOW have dropped the label because of the dog shit era we opened the show with.
Yeah.
Dog shit era is pretty bad. You are right.
Most of the MGTOW I know actually basically abandoned the label. They're still living the lifestyle. They're still
You
doing
blue
the thing.
pilled.
But they walked away from the label because it was becoming too toxic because of the dipshits ruining it. And I understand that. And in fact,
I think it's definitely been subverted. I definitely
hold on,
see
hold
that.
on.
Hold on. There's the woman.
Ayam,
Uh-oh.
have you seen TFM's cycle
There
of
she is.
egalitarianism
yes,
video?
my waifu asked you a question. I am. You better answer.
Repeat it to me, because you have it. I don't.
We're supposed to have the thing open. Okay. Have you seen my egalitarianism cycle videos? They were
I
also known as
have,
traditional
absolutely.
cycle.
I absolutely have, and I've made videos based on those videos.
Ooh.
And TFM knows that. I've made my own videos based on those videos. And it's some incredible shit. Absolutely incredible
Thank you.
shit. And I think that maybe Nick doesn't know about it. Maybe we should tell him
Oh.
about that.
He doesn't know.
No, he doesn't.
Now
I
go
know
on,
he
tell
doesn't.
me.
I know.
I'll send you a. I mean, I don't know if I can. I can't show it on the screen. I will send you a file. I mean, I guess I could send it through Skype.
Do you remember my video
but-
I made about putting MGTOW into a graph from upper right to lower left? That was based on your videos of this.
Okay.
It was based on this.
Okay, so I'm sending a graph. This started out as like my working theory, and
Yeah.
it took like a couple years. I think it's basically done at this point. But yeah, it was quite the journey.
It was.
I gotta find it. Now I gotta see. It's in the middle of my meme folder with all my dank memes.
Now you gotta go
My-
find it.
My maze. So I gotta look for it. So while I'm looking for that, if talk about whatever.
Okay.
Oh, I found it.
You found it.
There you go. Yeah, you can pull that up. You can pull it up on your screen if you want. We could talk about it, but people aren't going to be able to see it on my screen.
Hold on. What is that in the fucking?
Oh, what was
Oh,
that?
the
I
soft
saw it.
patriarchy. Yeah, soft patriarchy. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That was the video. That was the diagram that inspired me to change the triangle into a square and say, I made it softer. You
Made
know
it
what-
softer.
Yeah, I made it much softer
Okay.
because you have to
All
make
right.
it softer for the people, man.
Gotta make it TPE soft, like a soft TPE sex doll titty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can't. I mean,
Wait, so you identify with libertarianism? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean politically, but I appreciate the fact that libertarianism will never catch on because it requires personal responsibility,
I don't know.
and people don't want to be responsible. So it's right, it's correct, but it'll never catch on. It's not even
Yeah, you're
viable.
right. Someone's going to be bitching and moaning that they're a
Yeah.
victim.
People don't want to be free if it means personal responsibility.
No, absolutely not.
So
Absolutely not.
yeah,
Do you know what it took?
but
for
it,
me
it
to
doesn't
understand-
it doesn't make it wrong. It
No.
just makes it unviable.
You know what it took me to understand that? It took me living in a different country that had different culture. That's what it took me to understand that.
Okay.
So when I came back, I thought, okay, I understand something that these people don't. I know what it's like to be here in this place and have no real name or authority in the society I live in. And I came
Yeah.
back and I'm like, no, it's all bullshit. These people are fucking insane.
Yep.
What happened here, senor?
Native women rights. We done fucked up.
Exactly.
Yep, well, it's the root cause of it, man.
Yep. Well, it's really based on the denial of because humans evolved based on sexual dimorphism. The man has natural authority.
Reproductivity.
Everything. Yeah, reproductive dynamics dictates gender roles, which includes male authority. But because of the Enlightenment, we're like, hey, that's all a social construct, man. Let's try equality. And from the Enlightenment, we got communism. We got all these horrible, horrible bullshit that fails every time. And we admit communism was a bad idea, but we won't go back to the Enlightenment and admit that equality was a bad idea. Like there's
It
something
was good on
called-
paper.
Well, there's some equality, like equality of opportunity is fine because that's a meritocracy. But the problem is even the concept of equal opportunity has been
That's
tainted
bullshit,
to mean
man.
equal outcome. Because you talk about equal opportunity, people are like, well, what does equal opportunity mean if this child that has less money and doesn't have all the education and his parents don't have this and that? So the only way to give him equal opportunity is to shower him with money and take it
Make
from
the
you. So
retarded man the governor of our province.
yeah.
Look,
Yeah, it's
I want to say something. Look,
okay.
I
All
had
right.
a conversation with Nick before
Uh-oh.
about the exact same thing. And
With
again,
self-determinism.
no, yeah, self determinism and Islam.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, your mind's
Are
gonna
you
be
are
blown
you
away.
Are you
preparing him
ready,
for his 72 versions? Here we go.
Nick? Do you remember when I talked to you and our gay friend Jay?
Yes, that was last week.
Yeah, last
Or
week.
was
Oh
it the
shit.
time that we had to take it down because we definitely been brought up on hate speech charges?
Yeah, welcome to my world. It's like that's just Tuesday.
Now,
They
imagine
don't
this.
respect the fact that I'm a transgendered lesbian.
No, you're
Oh,
not.
we've deleted how many videos? We
I'm being
two or
oppressed.
three we had to delete because we were like, oh, we pushed it too far.
Their transphobia will not stand.
Yeah. But what I was saying before was that there was an instant, and again, it comes back to Islam because obviously I am trying to turn all MGTOW into Islam.
Okay.
That's my agenda.
Obvious.
An
I'm,
offshoot of Islam.
We're
yeah,
on
MGTOW.
to you.
yeah,
We're on to cartoon chicken.
yeah. Uh, Stay tuned to my cartoons later because they will be there.
Well, Am, you do understand that Christianity was Islam, just before Islam
Yes,
was
it was
is
1,000 years before
Well,
Islam. Christianity
right.
was Islam.
So where Islam
Christianity,
is today is what Christianity was in like the 11th century.
Christianity used to be patriarchal. Christianity used to have a strong pimp hand, and
Yes,
Christianity used to have a high fertility rate.
yes.
That was like that up until like the hippie revolution
That's
during
what
the
I'm.
60s.
No, it was before that. When women got what kills fertility is women going to school and having careers.
That's
They've
what I
done
was trying
studies
to
which prove
say.
this, and people are like, oh, it's actually when a society gets advanced, the fertility rate just always shits the bed. No, it's not true.
No,
They've done
it's
studies
not true, man.
when you
You have
you could
no
be as
external
rich,
threats. I also
you could
bring
be
it
a
back to no external threats. And then obviously Europe is a different case now, but like North
no,
America has
Europe
never been a
literally.
has
case.
external threats, and they're coming in right
Here's what it
now.
is. I can prove this. I did a video called "Patriarchy and Fertility," and all my sources are in the description. They've done studies. Society can get as advanced as it wants. People can get as rich as they want. They can get as educated as they want. As long as the women don't get educated and don't get careers, your fertility rate is fine. The
Sound
day
bitch.
you send women to college and into the workforce, your fertility rate shits the bed.
It
That's it.
drops.
And even in third world countries,
Yes.
if the fertility rate will still shit the bed. That
Yeah.
is the problem. But
And
when you talk about like women out of the goddamn workforce, send them back to the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant, they're like, how misogynistic. Like, do you want your society to
to
live?
die.
Like,
Yeah.
would you rather have a race war, or would you rather send your fucking women back to the kitchen? Like, one is
Or how about
infinitely
this? How about your
more
children to
humane than the other.
survive? How about your
Yeah, yeah,
children to survive?
you want your children to be killed in the street because God forbid your woman go fucking bake you an apple pie and suck
Yeah.
your dick.
Yeah.
Oh, whore of whores. We can't have our women bake pies and suck dick. We have to let our children die in war. Hold on.
No. No,
If all
Hold on.
men
that's that.
Hold,
banded
hold
together
on.
and did not give women the time
Hold
of
on.
day for a
My
month
wife is
slash year or
talking.
whatever, would the laws eventually change towards patriarchy?
No, women will never.
No.
Just like women are spoiled children. So yeah, you can't negotiate with them. Like you could try to be like, oh, we're gonna give you the silent treatment. We're not gonna give you our sweet D, and you're gonna eventually agree to whatever. That sounds good on paper, but in reality, because men have a much higher sex drive, women can outlast men, and men will eventually give in. So what you do is you just cut out the middle. First of all,
Women
you
don't
don't
need a sex drive to survive. They don't
you
need one.
don't need you don't need to play mind games and shit with women. Just fucking say, look, you can't vote anymore. All your rights, they're gone.
Yeah.
That's it. It's done.
Very
It's
easy.
over.
It's very
You
easy.
saved Western civilization. It's
Yeah.
that fucking easy.
It's
And then when
very
she
easy.
picks up the phone to call the White Knight Brigade, if the White Knight Brigade is like, nope,
There
no, we're
is
not.
no white knight brigade.
There's
That's
no
the whole
White Knight
point.
Brigade.
There is none.
Oh, you know what happens? You know what happens when men rediscover their pin pan and there's no White Knight Brigade to call on the phone? Women will just submit.
Do you want me to
That's
tell
it.
you?
It's
Do you want me to give you? I'm going to give you a breakdown of Islamic understanding of men and women. Very simple.
Okay.
Very, very, very simple breakdown.
Very simple. My
Very,
body's
very
ready.
simple.
My body's
When a
ready.
woman says something and she wants something, a man can simply say no, and whatever she wants stops. It's over.
Yeah.
It's finished. Now,
And if she gets, see, you're allowed to beat her.
yeah,
Right.
well, not allowed to beat her. I'm not saying you can beat the shit out of
Throw
a woman.
acid on her.
Well, no, I'm not saying beat the shit out of her. You just apply the pin pan a couple times until
Yes.
she shuts the fuck up.
Yes.
I
Within
mean, yeah, I'm not saying beat her into unconsciousness until she has to be carted away in a stretcher. I'm just saying, like a child.
But this
Like
is
you don't beat your children into
Exactly.
unconsciousness. You spank them. You remind them, bitch, I'm twice your size.
yes. Yes.
Like you're going to do what
And
I
y-
say.
and-
This is
and-
going. You're
and
going
often-
to do the easy way or the hard way.
Yes.
You're going to listen to me, or I'm going to slap the shit out of you, and then you're going to listen to me. But
Yes.
you're going to listen to me. So just do the smart thing and just listen to me
Stop.
without me having to hit you.
Yes.
Done.
And
Problem
often
solved.
and often with a child, you don't have to hit them. You simply have to
Right.
threaten them
Oh, you're breaking up
with the
bed.
power that you have.
Well, what I've heard is if you're consistent with discipline,
Mhm.
children will just listen. So
Exactly.
you don't have. I've talked to a bunch of parents who believe in spanking, but they're consistent with it,
Yeah.
and they're like, I haven't had to spank
You
my
don't
kids
have
in
to.
years
Yes.
because they know I will, so they don't do it.
Yes. Look,
When you
dude.
don't, you're a weak cuck, and they know you won't. That's when they fuck with you.
Dude, I have been a single father for 2 years now. I have never once had to spank my child to make him do what I want him to do. I raise my voice, I show him authority, and he does it. It's
There
very,
you go.
very simple. I do it. And I would pity anyone that has to go through the motion of pushing for physical violence. Like you're doing something wrong, man. Your children don't respect you.
Right. Well, usually if you have to beat your kids regularly, they're either like
No,
got some kind of
they're
learning
raised by
disability,
single mothers. Let's just put it out.
or you're not being consistent. Like
They're
you're basically
raised
letting them
by
get.
single
No,
mothers.
Well, yes, but there's a reason why that doesn't work. It's not just because they have vaginas. What women do is they ignore a child and let them do whatever the fuck they want until the child becomes so obnoxious that
Yeah.
then they turn around and
They have
beat
no.
them.
They have no choice. They have to. Hit
There's
them.
no right. There's no consistency. If they
Yes.
don't like they don't tell them to stop it
Beautiful.
when they're doing it every time. They let them get away with it like 80% of the time.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Until they've had it up to here with them,
Mhm.
or until they have company over. Like,
Yes.
oh, there's company over. Now I'm going to slap the shit out of you. But other than that, I'm just going to ignore you until you bother me.
Well,
And
I
it's that it's the inconsistency which causes their kids to be out of control, and it causes them to be abusive.
Yes.
Well, not
absolutely,
only
man.
that, but in the black community, what happens is when they're young, the young black males, they're rearing them. The women are rearing them. At the same time as they're rearing them, they're like, "You're just like your father." So at the same time, they're putting down the man that left. Your daddy
Yes.
left. He's no good.
Yeah.
Putting him down over and over and over again. Now your son is like 6'3" and 250 pounds. You can't hit him no more.
Yeah. Well,
And
they
she
also
goes, "I'm gonna go get your daddy. I'm gonna go get your
Yeah,
daddy."
and
Hey,
also-
where is
well,
your daddy?
Talking shit about
and
your
also
daddy.
and also single mothers, they raise their kids to be their slaves.
yeah.
They're like, you're going to clean the house
They
and you're
have
going to
to.
do this because basically they treat them like unpaid, like just like they make them.
That's in Asia. They do that in Asia quite often.
Yeah,
I am concerned about my own son going over to a single mother's house to hang out with his friend who is a son of a
Mhm.
single mother. Like, I'm concerned about it.
Right.
When he goes
Why?
over there,
Well,
I
you
plan.
let him know that
I think.
if she gets too mouthy with you, son, you give her a smack across the
Of
face and be like,
course.
"Bitch, I'm a man.
Absolutely,
You
man.
don't fucking talk to me like this, you fucking bitch." And then you
That's
smack her. And then
but that's
she
where I
just, like,
am. That's
can you imagine
exactly where I
a little
am.
kid, a little kid slapping
No,
your
no, no, no.
mom?
I'm not teaching that to my son, but I understand that as me as myself.
I would, I would, I would laugh so hard if
Look,
some kid was hanging out with
I
some other kid who
wish.
was the son of a single mom, and he just like slapped the shit out of his
Yeah.
single
I am. It's me.
Hadouken, tiger
I
uppercut.
wish. I wish. I wish. But
Oh,
unfortunately, it
oh,
has
I
to
would
be
laugh.
me just going like, okay, this is what it is for me as a single father. I am
Right.
a single father in a sea of single mothers. Please understand that.
Yep.
And
Right.
I
Oh,
have
I
to
know.
think this every single time. This fucking woman, I call her to say, my son is there. Everything is good. But I never trust her. I never. And every time I call her, it sounds like she's out of her mind. Like, oh, I don't remember who you are. I'm like, wait, I just called you. Can you not remember that? No, they're fucked
Yeah.
up. Single mothers are fucked up. But
They're cancer. They're literal cancer.
they're
They're
literal
can't like
cancer.
they are the human embodiment of cancer.
They're horrible, horrible people. And my son wants to hang out with his friend, but
Yeah,
his
but you know
friend's
why? You know
mother
what?
is a single mother. And I,
But
and
you know
I,
why he wants to hang out with his friend at his house and not have his friend hang out with him at your house?
They can get away with more.
Because single moms don't give a shit. They let their kids do
Right.
whatever they
yeah,
want.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They
So
don't give a fucking shit, man. And that's
right.
why I'm
So
like,
yeah, right.
so I'm like, okay, Zam, you tell me, what time? Are you okay? I mean, I'm constantly in touch. I hate it, but I gotta work. I gotta work, and
Yeah.
he has no school this whole week, so I have to let him go and hang out with a single goddamn mother. And when I call them, I call her on her phone and go, hey, this is Zam's dad, and I just want to make sure he's okay. You know what she says to
Well,
me?
you know
No, wait.
what's up?
You know what she says to me? She
Okay.
goes, "Who are you? I don't
Who are
remember
you?
you."
Who are you?
Yeah.
I don't know who you are.
She
Where
doesn't
am
know
Like
who
I?
the
you
fuck
didn't
Where
know
I'm.
that your
I'm like,
son's in the
I just
backyard or
talked to you.
whatever.
Yeah, I
are
just
you my
talked to
drug
you.
dealer?
Yeah, I just talked to
No.
you
Here,
20 minutes ago, and you
Yeah,
don't
my
know you by name.
Oxycontins, my drug
now,
deal.
yeah, are you my drug dealer?
Yeah.
Now you have to watch out for another something else too.
I'm like,
There's
what the
these stories
fuck?
of there's these stories of these women having sex with their son's friends.
Yes.
So you gotta watch
You
out
gotta
for
be
these single
careful.
moms
So, like,
trying to reenact fucking American Pie with your underage
her
son.
son, absolutely. And this woman is telling me after I've called her 3 times, I've got her number saved on my phone, right? Like, that's your name, that's your
You
number. I
pretend to be your
saved it.
drug dealer the third time.
No. I just saved it on my phone. Like, okay, that's your
Yo,
name. That's my
I
number.
got your Percocets, girl.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
then
yo,
I,
bitch,
and
I
then I
got your
call her,
dime
and she.
back. Come out front.
This is. I swear to God, man. The 3rd time I called her, she's like, "Who is this? I don't know you." I'm like, "Are you fucking serious? I am the dad of the kid that wants to go to your son's house, and you have my number. Are you fucking insane?" It's like, "Oh well,
Well,
I'm
she's on
I'm, I'm
drugs.
going
She
to
sounds like she's on-
McDonald's
Yeah.
to get to
Yeah.
have a coffee." I'm like, "What
Oh,
the
jeez.
fuck?"
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
these
No,
people
I
are
wouldn't. Here's
fucked.
here's the thing. Yeah, I would have a sit down with your son and be like, look, your friend's mom is clearly smoking crack,
Oh, she's
and
out of it, man.
yeah, like it's not safe for you over there. So why don't you and your friend hang out here? I understand you got to work. How old is your son? Is he over 13?
He's 11.
Oh shit. Oh, okay.
Couple
Once
more.
he's 13, well, no, he could be home alone at 8, I
At 11,
think.
he can be home alone at this place as long as I know that he is here and his friend is here. I can make sure of that.
Okay, well then be like, look, like I'm gonna trust you. Don't abuse my trust, and you'll continue to receive my trust. If you fuck up, we're gonna have an issue, but I'm gonna trust you.
I already
Do
have
not.
it. I have the phone for him to talk to
Yeah,
me.
right. There you go. Yeah, so like order him a pizza.
Yeah.
download a movie on fucking Amazon Video.
There's
There
no
you
way
go.
that shit is gonna happen, man. There's no way. Like these,
Yeah,
these
you don't.
single mothers are fucked in the head.
They
I,
are.
I want you guys to understand. I want everybody to understand that I am a single father in North America, in Canada, and I came here and I fought for it. Like it's not an accident. I fucking came here and fought for it, and now I have
You
my
won,
kid.
man. You won.
I won. I fucking
Oh, that's a good idea.
won.
So someone made a comment. You can actually get like these, like a baby cam, and you can actually check the footage on your phone. So you can actually have like a
Yeah.
camera set up, and you can have like that way.
I've been
You
thinking
could
about
do that.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Should do it.
But you have to understand.
You're going to be more responsible than the crack whore single mom.
That crack whore single man has no responsibility. And it's a funny thing is, an example tonight. I came home and I phoned, and she picked up the phone, and I said, "Okay, has he gone home yet? Has he left the house? Oh yeah, he left." The first
She doesn't
thing
know who you are.
she doesn't even, she didn't know who I was. She didn't know who I was. I had talked to her 3 times before that. And when I called her and said, "Hey, is my son left your house and come home?" Because he's got a long way to walk. He has to walk home. And it's a long way, man. Has he left home? She's like, "Who is this? I don't even know who you are." I was like, what the fuck?
Like, how many boys were in your house today that you don't immediately know?
Yeah.
When I say has my son, now obviously I'm not your baby's daddy, so I'm not talking about your son.
Yeah.
And there was another boy in your house.
Yes.
So let's, through the process of elimination, let's solve this Scooby-Doo mystery together, and let's guess who I am.
Yes.
Who could I possibly be calling about if I'm not talking about your son? And there was another boy with your son. Who do
She's
you
on
think I'm
something,
talking
man.
about?
Yeah.
You stupid
She
crack horse.
was ready to hang up on me.
He's on something.
She was gonna hang up on me. She was gonna be like, "I'm sorry."
Well, she's got. Look, I am. She's got a lot of crack.
Antidepressants and wine.
Your constant phone calls are interrupting her crack time.
Yeah.
This
Right,
crack
yeah.
isn't going to smoke itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was like,
She's in a ketamine hole and you're bothering her.
yeah, absolutely.
She's trying. She's trying. I mean, have you tried holding a spoon and a lighter and talking on the phone at the same time?
Yeah, you're
Absolutely.
being annoying, bro.
You're being pretty selfish. Continually
Yeah,
calling.
right.
She's trying to keep that spoon steady and hold the needle in her teeth, and you keep calling her asking about your son.
Yeah.
God, like
Okay.
how just.
Prick. Misogynist.
No,
Ah, man.
absolutely, man. It was insane, and that's why I was like, okay, that's the last time my
Does she
son's
smoke
gonna go.
cigarettes? Let's answer that.
Well,
Does she
well,
smoke cigarettes?
Okay, no, I don't know. I've never met her, and I don't want to meet her. But the point is like my friend and her son are good friends, and they have a good time, and that's great.
How's the son? Is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. He's okay now.
Now
They're fine.
I am. We've been streaming for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little sleepy.
Mm.
So, and I actually do have to. I got to do some work
All right.
tomorrow.
Well, let's
so I
finish
don't.
it off. Okay, let's finish it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're,
Well, yeah, I'm saying like we can
Have to
keep
go.
talking about your crazy crackhead neighbor.
Or-
but I'm.
Or we can talk about your crazy crackhead sex doll. Which one?
She's not. She's neither crazy nor a crackhead. So she's
Does she shoot up?
no.
Okay,
No.
good. With baby oil.
Yeah, you rub baby oil to keep her TPE skin supple so it doesn't dry out and crack. You know, she's fine. Her loyalty is absolute.
All right, good.
Her love is more genuine than any gold digger. And she's beautiful, and I don't have to worry about her cheating on me. She's
True.
clean. She's a virgin. I took her cherry fresh out of the box. She's only been with me. She's clean. She's disease free.
Oh, you didn't let your friends give it a spin?
I didn't whore her out to anyone. I don't believe in that. Now she has infinite twin sisters, so if you like her, you can buy your own. That's the other thing too.
Get a
If you have like a real girl,
killdozer,
you have-
man.
oh, hold on.
Killdozer.
Are there racial groups that have higher sex drives than others? Do black guys have higher sex drives than white guys, or is it all the same?
I
What's
think
It's all
I
the same.
no,
It's just
I got
TFM.
men universally have higher sex drives than women, but I think it is tied to like masculinity and sexual dimorphism. And I know that some races are they have higher amounts of sexual dimorphism. So it wouldn't surprise me that if they were tested for their sex drive, I don't know how you would construct that. Um, I would not be surprised that the races that have higher amounts of sexual dimorphism have a higher male sex drive than races that have a lower amount of sexual dimorphism.
There
So
you
you're
go.
saying black people like to have sex a lot?
No, it's not a black. It's not a. I don't. It's no. Like black people aren't necessarily the most sexually dimorphic. It has to do with the average height and weight of their men versus the average height and weight of their women.
The
I
penis.
don't remember who is the. I don't remember who is the most. I know the one that's the least sexually dimorphic are Indians from India, not Native Americans.
I've heard the
They have.
complete opposite about people from India. And going by that birth, but that the how many the population, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. But there's a lot of different subgroups in India, so I don't know. I just know like from.
Over a
I was
billion
doing some
people in that
research.
subcontinent.
Well, no, obviously they're having kids. Doesn't mean. Okay, but how many times you
Kama
only have to have
Sutra,
sex,
bro.
you only have to have sex a handful of times to have a bunch of kids. Like it's not like you could have 10 kids and have sex 10 times hypothetically, and that's it.
Well, you
Like you
had
had sex
one.
ten
You had one
times.
sex doll, and you're like 12,000 kids ahead of them, right?
Right.
She's
You're already there. You're done. Your kids are already there.
You have an army.
You have an
kids.
army.
An army of what?
Uh,
Sex doll monkey babies?
yeah.
I'd say China. China's definitely the least sexual of from my experience of all the culture and
Well,
races of people I've
but
met.
how much is that? But there's a lot of in
Yeah, you're
Asia.
right about that too. You're right. Yeah,
More of a
their
culture thing.
population is tremendous, huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, how much of that is culture and how much of that is biology? Who knows? But Japan has this huge porn and fetish culture, but they have like
They're
no
not.
race. So it's like, who fucking knows? Like, I wish academia wasn't infested with feminism, so we could actually have these questions answered. But unfortunately, it is, and I don't have the money to fund my own research, so we'll never know. It will be a question lost to the ages.
I think if you did your own research and you scratch through the surface a little bit, you can get a decent idea on what they're about.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm sorry, Swaffle Smurf. Usually I have Cat reading the chat, so I apologize. I've never been good at reading the chat.
Have you traveled? Have you gone abroad at all?
Yeah, when I was in the Navy,
Oh wow, cool.
I went to Europe. I did 2 tours in Iraq. I got that out of my system. I'm pretty. I don't like. Here's the thing. I went to Europe, and you talk. Oh, I see these beautiful, these museums and these landmarks. Here's the thing. When you look up a picture of a landmark, there's no tourists. Like you get a nice, clear picture of this beautiful landmark, and it's really beautiful. When you go there in real life, it's all surrounded by tourists, and you never like the picture looks better than the real thing. And other than like seeing it and touching it and smelling it, it's no different than a picture. And I can understand back in the day when there were no there were no pictures, everything had to be painted by an artist. Sure, it would be good to go there and see it. But now with high def cameras, I'm
Yeah,
at
the
fine.
romance
I'm
is
fine.
gone.
I'm fine seeing it in a picture because pictures don't have a smell. A lot of these European cities smell like shit. Like the architecture is shit. And now I'm afraid to go to Europe because I'm afraid there's going to be a fucking truck of peace going to run me over or stab the shit out of me.
Don't go to Europe.
Waifu might get raped.
Go to
Yeah, I
go to
might-
Asia. Go to Asia.
I
Better
gotta,
chance.
I gotta bring my rape whistle.
Go to Asia. Better chance, man.
I don't give a
Europe-
shit.
Does she have mace?
My sex doll?
Yeah.
Why would I bring my sex doll on vacation with me?
Well, you
should-
might get a little
You
lonely
should.
in the
I'd
hotel
like
room.
to see. I'd like to see how that
What?
works out.
Do a little continental breakfast.
What am I gonna carry around like Master Blaster? Like I'm
I
only
don't know.
why
Maybe
not?
you have a
tall.
special bag, luggage for her.
when when they make Well, they'd have to make a sex robot that can actually walk on its own before I'd even think about taking it out with me. Like I know there are people who like, they wheel their sex dolls around in wheelchairs. No, I'm not doing that.
Well, maybe you could buy her a plane ticket.
No, no,
No? All right,
no.
I try.
I could take her head with me. I could like I could like have it on a stick. I could
Why
carry
the
her.
head?
Did you enjoy being in the Navy?
It's light. It's transportable as opposed to her body.
It's like a blowjob. It's a blowjob.
No, because her mouth doesn't. My dick's too big. That's the. I can't like my. So her mouth opens, but it's really more made for kissing than for blowjobs. I mean, maybe if you have a really tiny dick, sure, but yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to like damage her head stretching it around my dick or anything. So I just kiss her. I don't put my dick in there.
Okay. You never put your dick in her mouth? Ever?
No, well, I probably could have if I would have forced it, but I didn't want to damage her head.
He didn't
So
design her that way, okay?
It
yeah,
wasn't
no,
designed that way.
they have the dolls that have the head with the shocked expression with their mouth open, and they probably will be fine. But her head isn't made that way, and I didn't want to stretch it out and possibly damage it. So
We
no,
have to
I
understand
keep
that
it.
if Killdozer exists, you're not involved, man.
No,
Like you're not there. I'm sorry.
well, I might. What my plan is to make Sex Doll Voltron.
It ain't gonna happen, man.
I'll form the head, and I'll have a
Killdo-
bunch of sex.
Killdozer
like-
will exist long before that.
But
Long.
no, they're gonna
before that.
it's gonna be like Devastator from Transformers. They're gonna be like, I'm gonna have two sex dolls form the legs and two sex dolls form the arms.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling-
Like Killdozer, that's just appetizing to most people. It's like kill
So wait,
and done.
okay, change of topic. Did you enjoy being in the Navy? Was it a good experience? Would you recommend it?
Well, no, I hated the politics of just the military in general, the ass kissing and the bullshit. I'm proud of the work I did. I'm glad of we did our job. I got my medals. I got my free college. All that was good. The politics can go fuck itself.
He's a Killdozer. You're a Killdozer, man.
Um,
You killed,
I-
you killed, and you're done.
I
Finished.
killed and I dozed, so
Yeah.
I'm a killdozer.
Yeah, you're a kill fucking dozer.
Did you do every ocean?
No, I was Atlantic Fleet.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just did Europe and the Middle East.
That's why.
Well,
he's
it's not as
Muslim.
the Atlantic's definitely not as beautiful as the Pacific. Atlantic's pretty rough, man.
Yeah, well, that's just where they sent me.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I joined after 9/11, so obviously the wars were in the Middle East. So
Hey,
that's where.
thank you. All right. Thank you. God
Yeah.
bless America.
Yeah, I
Good old GI Joe right
there
there.
you go. I
Protecting
killed
the
very-
LGBT
I
community.
killed all those. I killed a lot of those filthy Hajis for you, so your countrymen were avenged.
Protecting that lithium and opium in
There
Afghanistan.
you go.
Thank you.
Right. We sent them off to Allah.
Poppies. Why do we wear poppies for World War II? Why do we wear poppies?
Oh, I used to know my mother. Oh, I forgot. I was supposed to know that.
Why do we
Blame-
wear poppies?
It's people dying.
I don't know.
Yeah. Poppies.
Mm,
Why do we wear the poppies?
I don't know. Why not cans of
Seriously?
Pringle?
I
Yeah, but why do they wear poppies?
I don't know. I don't care. Why are you asking these questions that I neither know nor care the answer?
forgot. What is the reason? Tell us.
Rows on rows? World War II? Poppies? Rows on rows? Seriously? Is this only Canadian? Is it
I don't know.
because you're American?
I don't know
that
what
only
you're
I
talking
know?
about. You're speaking crazy language
Wow,
time.
that's amazing.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're like
Oh,
talking about
I never knew
poppies,
that.
rows on rows. Now you
Poppies.
just you sound like a crazy person,
you know
like
the
a crazy
flower.
home.
You know the flower poppies, right?
Yes, there's a flower called poppies.
But there was never a song for you of how poppies were grown rows on rows for the people that died in the war? No.
No. Yeah, we had a children's song about a pocket full of posies.
Holy shit! I did not know.
Yeah, do you know what that song's about?
The Black Death.
Yeah.
Not to sound racist or anything.
Wow, I did not
It had
know
nothing
that.
to do. It had nothing to do with black people, by the way. It was just a plague.
Well,
Rat.
let me introduce you to the Canadians' version of that.
I don't care.
It was. It
Let me
was
stop you. Let me stop you there.
what?
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
care.
let me tell you this.
I care. I care less about Canadian anything than I care about almost anything else in the world. Like in
You
Canadian
must be an
anything.
American because that is
Yeah.
a very American
That
statement
is-
right there.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm an American.
Well, let me tell you
Yeah, I
this
think give
much.
less of a shit about Canada.
Let me tell you this much. The Canadians.
Hold on, my waifu. Hold on,
It's waifu. Shut up, bro.
This is fucking.
there you go. See, my waifu has spoken. So
Your waifu's. She's
uh,
full of shit, and you know that.
no, no, my
She's full
waifu.
of baby oil, damn it.
If you don't have a waifu, you don't have a lifeu.
Hey,
Why-
and why don't you get one, okay? You go and visit him. You guys can, like, double date or whatever.
Right.
Go to the beach.
You know what? I offered to go on a double date with someone. Like
Did you get him a coupon for one of these?
there was this
Now,
feminist that had
he's
a
got what he's
admirer.
got. He's got
There was
what he's
a
got.
feminist. I was going to take my sex doll on a double date with a feminist and her secret admirer, and it was going to be awesome. And it didn't happen. I'm very upset because that would have been like a once in a lifetime thing to have a monkey and a sex doll on a double date with a feminist and her like boyfriend. That would have just been hilarity would have ensued.
That would have been a
Anyway.
meeting of the minds.
So okay,
But it didn't
so
happen.
I'm gonna teach you the pimp's prayer. Now I understand you're Muslim, so you can substitute Lord for Allah.
Allah.
Wait, hold
whatever.
on. What are you? You're non-Muslim? Like, what's your?
I'm non-denominational follower
Yeah.
of Hanuman, the monkey god.
Gosh, you're a non-denominational follower of the monkey god.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to know.
Well,
Oh,
because I mean, whether you call him Hanuman or Sun Wukong,
Hanuman.
he has different names. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm non-denominational. I don't commit to the Hanuman or the Sun
Well,
Wukong.
it's gonna come back
Both
to you,
are
man. So
equally
just
acceptable.
if that's what you say you
Anyway.
are, it's gonna come back to you.
So I accept that. So here's the pimp's prayer. This is actually from the Boondocks from a pimp named Slickback, but it goes thusly. You may adapt it. You may change it to the deity of your choosing.
I already know.
Say, Lord, have mercy on the soul of this bitch. Guide my pimp hand and make it strong, Lord, that she might learn a hoe's place. Amen. And that is the pimp's prayer.
You know what?
Thank you,
It's
sir.
very Abrahamic, Islamic. It's very
It
Islamic.
is. There you go. So you make it,
In Islam,
Allah.
we would say, "Dear God, please accept my prayer that my strength will, by itself, understand what the world around me needs to understand. Let it accept that, and it will be real by Islam and by Muhammad."
You didn't even mention pimp
Assal-
hands once.
Assalamu alaikum. Period. Done.
There you go. That's Takia. So your version of the pimp's prayer
Yeah.
doesn't even mention pimp hands once.
No, it shouldn't.
And that
Because they're full of shit,
What?
man. They're full of shit.
what?
They're all full of shit. Those people are full of shit, and I know that. They're full of shit.
Well, I guess there we go.
No,
All right.
they're full of shit. I know it. I've
Okay,
seen what they say.
I'm not-
and they're full of shit.
I am not doubting you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm telling you, all right. We have said the pimp's prayer or the whatever, the Muhammad's hand prayer.
prayer of Muhammad's hand.
A pair. So
Alhamdulillah.
I'm going
Allah.
to, I'm going to go to, I'm going to go to bed, and you and I don't remember your name. Who are
It's all
you?
right.
Who are you
Well,
people?
call me Roy.
Why are you calling me? Who are you?
What you talking?
Anyway, so yeah, no, I had fun. I haven't talked to Ayam like probably over a year,
A
so it's good
long
talking,
time.
man. It's been a while, so yeah, good catching up,
Hope you
man.
come back, dude.
All right, so I'm going to end the stream. Well, I'm going to hang up and then end the stream. So, all right, you guys take care, all right?
All right, later, dude.
Absolutely.